Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League. This time we're playing blue-black Nethergoyf Tempo. Nethergoyf is a card that has really impressed me. For just one black mana, it can get pretty big. It can get as big as 5-6 in this deck, and it can get there pretty quickly. It's not uncommon for you to play this turn 1 and to attack for 2 or 3 or even 4 on turn 2. How do we get Nethergoyf big? Well, we play a good combination of sorceries like Thoughtseize and Ponder, and artifacts like Mishra's Bauble and Nile Spellbomb. Nile Spellbomb is great sideboard tech that's main decked here because it does synergize with Nethergoyf. And another cool anti-graveyard card that we're playing one of is Emperor of Bones. This card is good against Reanimator, of course, but it's also very good against Painter and other decks that incidentally use their graveyard. It could potentially exile a Life from the Loam. It can do a lot of things. And basically every turn you get to exile something. So it's recursive graveyard exiling. And you can adapt it, and you can even put the thing that one of the things that you've exiled into play, which if it's an Atraxa, that's probably game. Even if it's just a Psychic Frog, you're going to do a little extra damage and draw a card. The rest of the deck is just cards that are really good in Legacy. Because it's a tempo deck, we have 4 Dazes, we have 4 Wastelands, we of course have 4 Forces, 4 Brainstorm, 4 Ponder, but we also have access to Brazen Borrower, which is just a really strong creature that can both temporarily remove something or permanently remove a token like a Merit Lage token. But it can also come in later and start attacking, or it can even potentially block a Murktide for a turn or 2 while we connect with our other threats. The other cards that are worth noting, we're playing the full 4 Fatal Push, as any black deck probably should be doing right now with all the Psychic Frogs running around. I've created an entire sideboard guide, which you can see in the description here. But basically, we've got, I've kind of thought out different matchups that we're likely to encounter. Grixis Delver, Eldrazi, Painter, 12-post lands, any sort of spell combo, Karn Forge, Nadu. Nadu is really big right now. I keep playing against that deck. And then, of course, the Mirror and blue-black Reanimate, which is probably still the strongest deck in the format, despite the fact that Grief was banned. I mean, it's kind of annoying, but the deck continues to just slay. Let's go back to the sideboard. So the sideboard is, pretty common, powerful cards. There's a Force Negation in here. There are a couple of Hydroblasts in here. Consign to Memory is really good in a lot of matchups. We also have 2 Harbinger of the Seas, which is more than I've ever played, really. I usually just play it as a one-of, but it's really strong against certain decks like lands, like 12-post, like Eldrazi. So I think we are going to play 2, and I saw several other people playing a similar deck that were all the way up to 2. The main thing to note about this sideboard is we have 4 Orcish Bowmasters. I think Orcish Bowmasters is still an amazing card. I don't think it's main deckable right now. It just doesn't hit enough. But if you're up against like Death and Taxes, if you're up against Painter, if you're up against Nadu, of course, you're going to want to bring this in. But what this really does is it completely changes the dynamic of Beanstalk matchups, of these Jeskai Brain Surge type matchups. It's really strong, and it doesn't get pyroblasted, so often you'll see me potentially boarding out my Psychic Frogs against Painter and bringing in my Orcish Bowmasters. So it opens up lots of opportunities for kind of transformational sideboards. I've put a Toxic Deluge in here. I'm aware that it hits some of our creatures, but we can potentially do it at an opportune time and just wipe, for example, Cradle Control's board. It seems really strong. It's aggressively costed for a sweeper. I think we may be able to resolve this during the league. And I've got a Powder Keg here just as a nod to how powerful Painter is right now. Painter is definitely one of the top 3 decks in the format, in my humble opinion. The other ones being probably Eldrazi and, of course, the aforementioned blue-black Reanimator. So we're going to play a full 5 matches, and what I ask for you to do is, if you see me make a misplay, if you see me make a play that you think is questionable, if I miss lethal, anything like that, just grab the timestamp and leave a comment, and I will read all the comments. I'll reply. I'll never shoot the messenger. My whole goal in playing is to get better. So hopefully you'll learn a lot from watching me play and we can all get better together. See you in round 1. All right, here's round 1. We're against a likely mirror opponent, but this is a very solid hand and we are on the play. I'm going to keep this, and I think I'm just going to open Nethergoyf. And if they waste me, I'll Island Ponder and we'll start beating them down. I don't think they'll waste when Nethergoyf is on the table. All right, so we're just going to do what this deck does and put the Nethergoyf on the table. The other alternative, of course, being Tamiyo. Tamiyo can start generating value, but I like opening Nethergoyf, especially because I have Daze and Ponder to make Nethergoyf pretty big pretty quickly. Our deck does have ways to remove their graveyard, which their deck most likely does not. Do we want to Daze this? I actually don't mind dazing it because they're not going to be able to Daze back. And we do have Tamiyo Brainstorm, so yeah, I'm just going to Daze this. Deny them information about our deck, but they can probably guess what our deck does. Yeah, and you may think that's a questionable use of Daze, but it's going to make our Nethergoyf hit for more. They would have lost 2 life to the Thoughtseize anyway. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and attack in. So Wastelands are going to be really bad in this matchup. We want to probably actively avoid them, but if I put Tamiyo out, that will create a second point of pressure, and they'll have to choose which one they want to take care of. I think they'll probably take care of Nethergoyf. We have to wait a turn before we'll be able to protect Nethergoyf with Tamiyo. So, I mean, there's definitely an argument there that we should have just pondered and gotten Nethergoyf even bigger. They play Psychic Frog here. That's fine. I can Daze it. If they Fatal Push something, I will Daze it again. This deck can play on 1 mana. It's pretty powerful. Oh, my opponent says that, love your channel. Okay, so they are passing into combat, and we are going to go ahead and, here we go, Entomb. Well, I'm going to attempt to counter this. If they have a Daze, they have a Daze, and we're going to have to deal with potential rescam. All right, they did not have a Daze, so they still don't have anything really good in their graveyard. So I have updated my assessment of their deck. I no longer think that they are playing blue-black tempo like we are. I think they're likely playing something. Okay, so I think it might be beneficial to go ahead and stack up a few clues here rather than brainstorming, because all our cards are really good. I am going to go ahead and make Nethergoyf bigger. We found a Force. This is really good. I think we want to take the Force now, and we have another brainstorm if we need to pitch the Force. But I do want to stop reanimation shenanigans for sure. My biggest concern would be like they had like Runner Wasteland. That would be kind of bad. But we're likely going to be able to brainstorm next turn, flip Tamiyo, and put a second Nethergoyf into play. So we're going to have a lot of pressure. I don't think they have Daze here. That's fine. They are completely changing the texture of their hand here, so I wouldn't be surprised if they now had Daze. But as long as we can keep fatties out, that's fine. Okay, yeah, and this is fine. And I can even, if they fight over it, I can even Force. Definitely don't want to have to do that. I think because we have the Force, it's totally fine to just attack first and see if they block. I'm not going to get any extra points. Okay. They did not block. All right, so I think first order of business is getting this off the table. It's going to take over the game if we don't. I can wait and brainstorm later. They might have a... yeah, I probably will Force to protect this because they may have a reanimation spell. They likely have a reanimation spell, don't they? They're down to 2 cards, but I don't really want them drawing a card every turn. I think I am going to Force back. All right, it's gone. So they can reanimate it for sure, but they are taking, a lot of damage, and reanimating it does cost them 2 life. If they attempt to do anything to my Tamiyo, I can brainstorm and protect her, but I'm not in a super big hurry to flip her. Maybe I should be, because she can plus, and then she could also, yeah, I mean, maybe the play was to flip her there. I don't know. I do think that playing a Nethergoyf here is going to be strong. I think if I play Nethergoyf out now and they somehow daze it or counter it or something, then it will make this Nethergoyf bigger. So I do want to play it pre-combat. So Bowmasters would be painful here, but I would be able to respond. We have so many clues. I think at this point it does make sense because we've got so many creatures on the table to go ahead and brainstorm. If they Bowmaster, it's pretty catastrophic. They can kill our Tamiyo, but we do want forward momentum and we do want to find more land. I'm going to do it. Do they have Bowmaster? Usually these decks don't play Bowmaster. That's fine. I'm not going to pay for it. Okay. So they stopped our Tamiyo from flipping. And we're hellbent. They have 2 cards. If those cards are like Entomb, Reanimate, we're screwed. Like that's probably a game. They're playing Undercity Sewers, which is certainly a card I considered playing in this deck, but in a pure tempo deck, I don't think it's correct. And we are basically a pure tempo deck. Okay, Troll Cycling. At this point, if they reanimate Troll, it's going to hurt them a lot. If they merely get Troll back, our 5/6s can potentially not outclass it, but can, well, yeah, actually a 5/6 can outclass it. We would need to find some cards to be able to do that. Not playing anything. I wonder what's in their hand. They could have a very reactive hand. All right, I think we attack first, and then we have Brainstorm if we need it. Got so many clues. Definitely need to get some land here off this Brainstorm. All right, let's see what they have here. Do they have the Bowmaster? They know that there's nothing I can do if they have the Bowmaster. Okay, they're petty thefting it back. That's fine. I can just recast it. Let's see what I get. Actually, this might be good because I might be able to shuffle it away. I mean, Brazen Borrower is interaction here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these 2 cards back. Now I can play this out and I can play her again around Daze protection. All right, these Nethergoyfs have not hit very hard at all. We have not cracked a single clue, but next turn, if they don't do anything, we've got 2 reactive cards on the top of our deck. They might cast their own Brazen Borrower. I'm actually surprised they haven't cast it yet. They may have forgotten about it because it doesn't make sense for them to not cast it. Okay, here's their Psychic Frog. This is fine. So we know that on top of our deck, we have a Fatal Push. They are pretty close to dead on board, not completely. Yeah, okay. I don't know why they waited to do that, but this is fine. All right, I am going to keep the cards on top as is. I think Tamiyo's or Borrower's on top. No, Fatal Push is on top. They do have a card. Okay, so hear me out. We could attack with both of these, and then if they pump anything into Psychic Frog to survive a block, then we could just push it then. If they don't and they block Tamiyo, I could just push. I don't like attacking with Tamiyo here though, because we would kind of be bluffing. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to attack with the 2. I don't need the clue. It's greedy for me to attack, huh? I can't crack these clues and get a... Yeah, I'm going to attack with the Nethergoyfs here. Actually, if... No... Tamiyo would die upon damage being dealt. So we're not going to get... we're not going to get any Nethergoyf buff from her dying. I'm just going to attack like this and see whether they decide to block. I don't think going to 1 is going to be something they're going to want to do here. Oh, they are. Okay. Well, I'm not sure that that's correct. I am going to go ahead and push this now while we have information. Or while they have only 1 card in their hand. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so we do have a Borrower on top. We might not need it. I'm just going to wait and see what they do here. Because we can keep the Borrower and basically guarantee that we can attack through whatever they present next turn. Yep, they just conceded. Okay, that was, you can see I used quite a bit more time on my clock than they did. Part of that was because I spent like a minute or two like looking them up and everything at the beginning, but another part of that was I probably need to speed it up a little. Okay, so let's take a look at our sideboard guide that we created, huh? Yeah, let's do that. So for blue-black reanimate, we take out the Force of Will and we put in the Bowmasters. That makes sense. Force of Will is pretty bad in this matchup. It does stop reanimation effects, but that's not like the big thing that we need to stop. My thinking is Bowmaster is pretty good, potentially. It can stall against a resolved... did we bring in Long Goodbye here? Long Goodbye does deal with Frog like pretty definitively. They are going to have things we can kill with this. Shieldred's Edict is also a viable option. I keep the Dazes in this matchup, but maybe I shouldn't since we're on the draw. Our opponent did see them last game, and they may play around them. Also, well, I'm not sure if they're going to play Bowmasters, but if they're playing Bowmasters, Bobble gets really bad. Bobble already is kind of bad. It's kind of free cards we can take out. Let's say we took these out. What will we bring in? I don't think Powder Keg is correct. I mean, I sat down and I spent like 10 minutes, 20 minutes coming up with that sideboard guide, and it feels bad to just like abandon it the first. But let's see. I think I'm going to go in with this, and you might be thinking, why are you taking out Force of Will? Like, we do have graveyard interaction. Yeah, I'm going to try this because we're a tempo deck. Like, it will take them turn time. Bowmaster is kind of a tempo card. We know they're going to be playing 4 Brainstorm. We know they're going to be playing 4 Ponders, and we suspect they might be playing their own. Okay, so we have a Daze here. I think what we're going to do is we're going to Island Ponder and hope that we can stop whatever, because we've got removal here. We're probably not going to use the Wasteland at all, by the way, which may seem weird, like not using Wasteland against a Daze deck, but they are probably playing their own. Okay, so I think it's quite likely with this opening that they just have a end of turn Entomb hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this out. I'm not going to do anything else. And my reasoning is I want to be able to fetch and get an island and bounce and still have mana to Daze back if they Entomb here. Okay, that's fine. So this whole game, I'm going to try to play it around their Dazes. Yeah, and they've got a swamp, so this Wasteland is super dead. It's not going to do anything, and I might even Brainstorm it back if I get the chance. Thoughtseize. We can't stop this. I'm going to let it happen. I wouldn't be surprised if they took Bowmasters here. It's pretty good against us. Fatal Push, so they may have like a Frog in hand that they want to resolve next turn. But now they can play around my Daze, which is pretty strong. It's possible that they don't have anything else, and that wasting them will slow their roll quite a bit. They may be on like a super low resource deck. Okay, so Emperor of Bones, ridiculous card. Very strong against them. If it resolves, it is everything. If it gets dazed, it's a big deal. Like, it'll really suck. I think what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and get another Underground Sea. I'm going to throw Caution over the Wind. And I think I'm going to try to resolve this Emperor of Bones. And I'm just going to play this so they can't screw me off any one color. I'm going to hope that this makes it through Daze. I know it's a big hope. This Brainstorm, if it gets a Daze, I'll just Daze back. Actually, I can Daze back against anything they present here now that they're tapped out. If it's a Force, that's even better. They probably really want to stop this card. This card is really strong against their deck. Like, if we can get Troll underneath Emperor of Bones, it basically represents an additional 6 damage that we could do. This is so strong if this resolves. And again, it's recurring graveyard disruption. They know I have Daze. They can't do anything about this. I don't know why they even Daze here, because they know I have a Daze. They may have a Force in addition to this. That would be the most respect I'd ever seen pay to a Magic the Gathering card. All right. So that worked out incredible for us. We got through their Daze. I assume they found the Daze off of... so we're putting that underneath. And we get to do it even though we aren't able to attack. We have Summoning Sickness, but we still get the trigger. So that was strong. Now they don't have a Reanimate target. They're going to need to do it in one turn, like Entomb, Reanimate. Psychic Frog is okay. I'm not that scared of it. They're down to 3 cards. Right. Best card to find would be Fatal Push for sure. Nethergoyf's not bad. Okay. Let's say hypothetically we adapt this now. We can attack for 6 plus 4. They would need to discard their entire hand to stop Emperor of Bones. And we wouldn't be able to target any of those. Okay, they discard their entire hand, and then next turn we just Brazen and Borrower it back. I don't think that's terrible. Like we might take a hit, but that's pretty good. Well, is that good? Let's think about this. So we attack, we put this into play effectively. So we've got a 6/5 that can't be blocked. So we're doing 6 damage to them. If they want to block, they have to pitch 3 cards, their entire hand. They do know that it's safe to do so, and then we borrow it back. But they're going to get an attack for 4. They are going to be able to trade with our Emperor of Bones. I don't think we do that. The other option is to waste them and hope that they don't have a second land. I don't think that that's as impactful. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and ponder, and I'm going to try to find a Fatal Push. And it's worth noting that if they attack with Frog, I mean, these are good cards. I don't think we can put these away. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play out the Nile Spellbomb this turn. It's kind of like an insurance policy, and I'm going to let them attack, and I'll probably let them connect. Okay, so let's just go ahead and play this out. The other alternative, of course, is I play out a 3/4 Nethergoyf. I think the biggest danger is that they are able to just like discard something and immediately return it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and play this out, and I'm just gonna play this Spellbomb. Would love for them to force or something, because if they do, well, yeah, I mean that might be their entire plan is to, reanimate something. Okay, so that plan is off. I'm gonna go to combat. I'm just gonna exile Thoughtseize, I guess, in case they have Nethergoyf, because it's and then I will pass, and they will get an attack in, which is sad, but it should be the only attack they get with the Frog. And if they choose to put any power on it, that would be bad, because I'll be able to Brazen Borrower it back next turn. Okay, they're just attacking. I'm not going to block. Step aside and let the man go through. Right. We have been burning tons of clock thinking about these lines. I'm new to this card. So, Barrowgoyf. Well, yeah, we can't interact with that immediately, but it is going to be pretty weak here. It does have Death Touch. So, options. We borrow Barrowgoyf back. We attack for a ton. 10 damage. I don't strongly dislike that. And we can also play another Nethergoyf, which will force them to jump next turn. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to go blue, colorless, borrow. Actually, I can't attack for a ton now. I was wrong there. Okay, and then I'm just going to go and play this out now. Do they have a Daze now? This would be a good time to use it, because this is going to be a pain for them. Okay, it resolves. Now we're going to go into combat, and I am going to hit their Brainstorm, I guess. And now I'll just attack them. I don't think... Let's see, if we hold back, they can potentially kill both of these. So I'm not going to hold back. Barrowgoyf will eventually be problematic. This is like peak, current Legacy, in my opinion. Like this kind of matchup where... and a lot of people may be lamenting, oh yeah, the blue-black mirror. But like, it is pretty interactive, right? I mean, for 10 years, people were complaining about Delver being like the dominant deck and Delver mirrors and even Miracles being, the dominant deck and Miracle mirrors and stuff like that. But these are very skill testing matches, I think. Okay, they're going to dismember, it looks like. Yep. That is unfortunate because they're dismembering that? All right, that's fine. I'm more worried about them dismembering that. And if they do that, unless they have a land, they can't play out but they may draw a land here. All right, I don't necessarily feel favored now that Frog is connected twice. I think what I need to do is, I can't remember, I don't think I have a land on top. Okay, another Psychic Frog. That's fine. Is it fine? It's kind of not fine because now they can block my Emperor. All right, I found another land, which is great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by getting another Underground Sea. And I think I adapt here. Black, colorless. Wait a second. I can do this at instant speed and I can block a frog. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep up both Orcish Bowmasters and Psychic Frog. Okay. This may seem incredibly passive. I just want to keep things out of their graveyard. Maybe this is too passive. We can adapt and we can put a troll on the table and it can kill one of these like pretty confidently. And we've also got Bowmasters. I think that's better. Okay, I'm going to start by putting this on the table. Ping. All right, and now I'm going to adapt. They can actually push in response. Yeah, I didn't think about that. So unfortunately, I don't get the adapt trigger. Yeah. All right, so the question is, do I let this through to ping them and get a big army? I think I do. Maybe that's suicide. Oh, no. Yeah, that's really bad. They had a double push. I'm not sure if I can win anymore. They're going to get a massive advantage here. I think I'm going to go ahead and concede, and we're going to go to game 3. The reason is I feel like I screwed that up. Like, them having double push was absolutely backbreaking there, and they were going to draw a bunch of cards, and I just want to make sure I have time to do a competitive game 3. I am going to be on the play. I haven't learned anything new about their deck that changes how I want to approach this. I still think the forces belong out. Long goodbye could be good. Let's see. This does hit Barrygoyf. Barrygoyf. Sorry, I call him Barrygoyf like just because I think it's funny, but Barrowgoyf is what I'm talking about. We could take out this. I mean, I don't think we take that out. I think we probably take out a. I'm going to take out a Thoughtseize. Their deck is like pretty. Well, I mean, we could hit something good, and it does feed our Nethergoyfs. That's the main thing, is I just want to keep Nethergoyf nice and strong. I will take out a Bowmaster. We're going to play more aggressively here. I didn't see Bowmaster from them, so they may not even have Bowmaster in their deck. Bowmaster is a very good card, but it's not like a complete mirror breaker. And again, this isn't exactly the mirror. They probably have Atraxa in their deck. I did see it Entomb. This seems like a really strong hand. I think I open Island Ponder here, and then next turn I've got Tamiyo with the ability to protect her. The reason I'm opening Island Ponder is because I don't want Tamiyo to get pushed. And we saw like game 1, because they have Wasteland and stuff like that, like I had a ton of clues that I wasn't even really able to crack. So getting her out turn 1 is not as important as just keeping her in play and keeping her safe and potentially flipping her. So let's go ahead and grab this island. And my opponent may read this, oh, they don't have lands, which is kind of true. These are good. I'm going to put it like this. I'll probably shuffle away the Bowmaster at this point. So if they don't play basics, I'm probably going to Tamiyo and waste. So I'm not going to be wasting. Play this out. This can't get basic swamp. Play a Tamiyo and I'll pass. Next turn, I'm going to have Frog around Wasteland. All right. Our top card is, okay, I'll definitely waste that. just to keep up the tempo. So they've got Troll in the yard, which is nice because they didn't even have to pay to go fetch it, but it also means that they probably have lots of land if they didn't even want to, or they could just reanimate it right now. And if it did, I will Daze. I'm going to attempt to brainstorm here. There's no way that they can blow me out with the Bowmasters with just 1 mana. And if this draws interaction, that's fine. Okay, it worked. That's really good for us. So I think all these cards are great. There's not really anything I want to put back. I think the Wastelands are the most speculative. We'll draw 1 and we'll see whether we want the second one. They have successfully denied us a clue here though, because I was going to get a clue and then attack, and the loyalty would be the same. All right. Yeah, I think I think getting Psychic Frog out is better than playing Nethergoyf at this point. Nethergoyf is a 3/4. I could hide the fact that I have Wasteland. I think that's fine, and they may not go for it. Yeah, and the top card of the deck is Wasteland. So we can easily fetch it away if they just go get a basic here. I'm glad that they used one of their fatal pushes. Right? They are going to play on basics, it looks like. So I am going to want to fetch away my other Wasteland. And if it dead on Troll is fine. Yeah. All right. So next turn, we are definitely going to borrow. Upkeep, I'm going to go get a swamp. I just don't want to somehow get like repeatedly wasted. And the upside of having duels is not that high right now. All right, so I think we can waste this and then borrow. I'm going to play it out first. I do want to borrow immediately to see what happens before we do anything else. Actually, yeah. I'm going to borrow. And now the Wasteland is super weak because they're going to be able to just cycle. Okay, that worked. I don't think it's worth getting anything back here. I'm just going to plus. I should have attacked first. That was bad. You always attack to see what you're going to get before you discard. I'm still getting used to the patterns. I'll use that excuse. Okay. Now Spellbomb is great. I think we go ahead. I think now Spellbomb is more important to resolve. So I'm going to play it first. They may force this. Okay, they didn't. And now I'm not going to play Nethergoyf. I'm just going to instead wait a turn. And my reasoning is that we may need to be able to Daze something and also pay for Daze. So had I thought that through, I probably would have tapped in a way that I wasn't leaving this vulnerable to Wasteland. That's fine. Just being on the play is so strong in these kinds of matchups. I will snap off this Nile Spellbomb if we get a window to counter a reanimation effect with it. Okay, here's the Wasteland. Do they waste my Underground Sea and then I'll float a blue? Actually, I'm going to float a black in case I have to exile their graveyard. Okay, they're passing to their next phase. They may have a big spell here. Petty Theft. I'm going to Daze, and they will probably Daze back. Yep. See, this is one of those situations where if they Daze back, I could have totally prevented it. Yeah, and they do have a Daze back. So every little thing. Don't ever let anybody tell you that the little details, like precisely what I said might happen, has now happened. Okay, so they've set themselves back on mana quite a bit. I think what we do here, I mean, they could be playing, what's it called? So I'm just going to start by attacking here. I'm not going to pitch any cards. Long Goodbye is a great pickup. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play Tamiyo, and I'm going to play Nethergoyf. All right, and we've got our creatures back on the board. We both have a Brazen Borrower in exile. I can't defend Tamiyo anymore. They know it. So they could potentially kill her here, but they have higher priority things to kill. Their own Psychic Frog, Long Goodbye. We're going to see how good this card is. I think there's a high likelihood that if I attack, maybe they try to block something. I'm going to play out a land. I'm going to go to combat. I can just long goodbye, like deterministically, regardless of what they may have in hand. They can't flash in Borrower. Okay. I think they should have done this after they blocked, because now I can just long goodbye. They might long goodbye again, but I do want the Psychic Frog to go through. And I just did it again. I just tapped my freaking basics when I didn't need to. All right. Well, sorry about that, folks. Okay, so we're going to draw here. All right. I think now is as good a time as any to flipper again. I'll just draw with this clue. We're pretty shields down, but we do have the now Spellbomb. And we're just going to start riding the Tamiyo train. Picking up a Psychic Frog there is really big because they're likely scrambling to try to get rid of our Psychic Frog. We've got at least, we've got 2 must-kill threats. I would consider Tamiyo and Psychic Frog to be must-kill, and then taking care of the Nethergoyf will be something they'll need to do eventually. Okay, 4 mana, that's a lot. Barrowgoyf is great. It's a good card. It's quite large, 5/6. Okay, so I'm just going to return long goodbye here and long goodbye it if they don't kill my Tamiyo right now. That's fine. I think it's higher priority to kill the Barrowgoyf. I have Psychic Frog Supremacy. They can't even discard enough cards to get Nethergoyf big, or to take out my Nethergoyf. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Long goodbye. Do they have Surgical? I don't think they would have Surgical. All right, now I'm just going to tap my non-basics. Thank you. I'm learning, and I'm just going to long goodbye this now. Okay, and now I can just attack in with everything. They are inclined to block. Actually, they have to block. If they don't block, they're dead. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to discard a Wasteland. Don't particularly care about that card. And they're going to have to discard if they want to keep their frog alive. They don't. Okay, great. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and play this out. And I feel like I've won. So we'll go blue, black, frog. I mean, they have 1 card in hand. They do have Borrower, but they can't attack Tamiyo. So Tamiyo can potentially just keep recurring long goodbye. That's something I hadn't really thought about. But like, if anybody's like, why are you playing Tamiyo in a tempo deck? Like, you get into these situations where every other turn, your recurring removal or your recurring spell-based interaction, sack interaction, like a force or something, it gets really good really fast. Yeah, and they concede. Those were great games. And yeah, thanks again for tuning into the channels. Okay, so let's jump over to round 2. I'm feeling good about this list. All right, round 2, we are up against Eldrazi. Most likely, they were playing the Linebreaker version. Unique username 3. I love that little joke. It's not that unique if they had to put the 3 behind it. And I think that's the whole point of their funny little joke username. All right, good luck, have fun. This is a solid keep against Eldrazi. What we really want to do is just get Nethergoyf on the table and pressure them and mildly disrupt them with Wasteland. Brazen Borrower might play a role. I do think it's better to get Nethergoyf out first rather than Tamiyo, because we can get an attack in, but I mean, how much are we really going to be attacking for? Yeah, I think I'm going to start Tamiyo. I think that's the stronger play. And I think I'm going to go ahead and just, I mean, the tempo player in me is saying, get the Underground Sea. So I think I'm going to get the Underground Sea. Second Tamiyo is force fodder. If they somehow do have removal and remove her, that's fine. Okay, yep, Ancient Tomb. That is going to get wasted, by the way. That is a high priority waste. If we waste it, we can't really do anything else this turn. We could Nethergoyf and keep up Fatal Push. I think it's okay. I'm going to Nethergoyf and keep up Fatal Push. My thinking is, if they do play like Eldrazi Linebreaker turn 2, or if they play like Thought-Knot Seer or something, I can push and get a card off it immediately and remove it from the board. And Tarmogoyf is kind of how we pressure. And if they play out a card like the really good land that they play, sorry, I'm still on attack step, Ivugan, then I want to be able to remove it. Next turn, we have potential clue cracking action. Okay, Yavimaya. Glaring Fleshraker is a high priority push. And I'm going to go ahead and push now. When they pass priority, I don't wait. I push. I think I just get non-basics here. Because we don't want to waste off one of our colors. That would be bad. All right. And now I'm definitely going to waste the Ancient Tomb, the Soul Land. Not even going to wait. I'm just going to main phase it. And now I'll attack with both. There's no benefit to doing anything else. So I think we just pass and we have either Borrower or Clue Crack up. Being on the play in this matchup was absolutely critical. Yeah, so far we've been on the play both matches, which makes a huge difference when you're playing a tempo deck. Okay, there's the eye. Vexing Bobble's fine. Passing. Okay. Let's crack a clue. All right, Psychic Frog. Very good card here. Fiddle Push is great. I'm going to hold that up. I will play out the... Did we play out the land? We don't have to. I'm just going to go ahead and play this out now. Psychic Frog. If I discard the redundant Tamiyo, it does make Nethergoyf bigger. I think that's the play. I am going to play out the land. I think it's greedy to not play out the land, especially when we're holding a Fatal Push. And we have clues to crack anyway, so yeah. Next turn, we'll be able to flip Tamiyo. Our opponent is pretty far behind, but you know, Eldrazi can just explode if they get another Fleshraker on the table. So that's one of the reasons we want to have Marsh Flats up, is the second that we have priority, we can push the Glaring Fleshraker. It is really nice how Psychic Frog and Tamiyo and Nethergoyf can all kind of help one another. Like Psychic Frog, here, let's put something in the graveyard. Okay, here they're going to probably try to exile some of my... Oh, what does this do again? Devoid. Landfall. When a land you control enters the battlefield, look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. If you don't put the card into your hand, you may put it in the graveyard. Okay, interesting. So you can choose... but you would just put the creature card in your hand. You wouldn't intentionally mill a creature, I don't think. You may reveal it. Okay, so you could just not put a creature card in your hand. Okay, these are very minor distinctions. I think in like 99% of cases they're going to want to do that. But the important thing to note is it's a 7/5 with reach. That's quite good. So I'm definitely going to be bouncing that. It doesn't have any ETB or anything, but they haven't played a land yet. Did they play a land? Yeah, they played the Eldrazi Temple, so they have played a land. All right. Well, I think the play is borrow, and then hope to find a land, and then hope to flip Tamiyo. Okay, yeah, that doesn't change anything. Actually, is actively a bad card. So I'm going to go ahead and just start by borrowing. All right, so we could get extra damage by pitching the Force. They may get desperate and crack this. Let's see. So we're attacking for 5 here. We could be attacking for 6. I mean, if we attack for 6, that's kind of like lethal. One thing is, I know they're going to probably replay that, and I want to be able to hit for as much as possible. So I do think... Wait. I didn't attack with Tamiyo. It won't let me go back, unfortunately. Yeah, that was dumb. Okay, so I'll just attack for 6. I connect. Hopefully I get a land. I don't get a land, but I can flip her with this. So I'm just going to go get Underground Sea and flip her. I'm not too proud. I will miss my clue, but what can you do? Okay, these are great. This might be useful. Maybe not. I think the island is definitely not useful, so I'll put this on top. All right, I'll plus. And next turn, it doesn't matter that we have reach. What I'll probably do next turn is I'll minus, and I'll crack a clue so I have enough that I can potentially kill the Territorial Reacher if I have to. Whatever it's called. We do have this that we can put in for additional damage. That might be the play. But I'm definitely going to waste the Eye of Ugin next turn. I think that has to happen. Okay, so they may be exiling my land here, which is fine. Oh, no, it's just another territory color. All right, they get a landfall. What is it going to be? Hopefully a non-land. Half their deck is land. Oh, they have another one. Okay. Well, this is a great blocker against me, needless to say. We're going to need to find our other Brazen Borrower, which we're not going to find this turn, unfortunately. What is this? Oh, no. Well, hopefully they give it a hasten attack, because if they're doing that, then they're just giving their... Okay, and they might kill Tamiyo. It wouldn't make sense to attack me, I don't think. Yeah. Okay, so they do kill Tamiyo here. All right. We do have a Fatal Push on top of our deck, and we do have a Wasteland. So I think that's... A plan is forming. So I'm going to go ahead and play this out. I want to get rid of this eye. It's just too powerful. If we push here, we can attack and trade. I think they'll block. It's basically a force block. They had to block one of them. I don't think they'll block the Psychic Frog. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and push here. All right, that makes me feel a lot better. And now I'm going to attack both. And I can crack a clue that draws an island, which is not impressive. But I can... Okay, so I can essentially trade with this if I need to. And then I can finish the game with that. So what I'll have to do is I will have to draw the island, and I'll also have to discard both my island and my Psychic Frog. This doesn't have First Strike or anything like that. I should have checked. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and draw a card here. Then I'm going to discard. And I'm going to discard. And I'm going to kill this. They're going to drop to 3 life, which is just enough for me to kill with Brazen Borrower if I get a window to do so. We're drawing live. Yeah, I mean, this is a more competitive game than I expected based on our strong opening. Fleshraker, super strong. They've got 4 cards in hand. They can crack the bobble if they want. That does create a blocker. Yeah, we need to find a Fatal Push. If we don't find a Fatal Push, our mana, I'm pretty scared. I think we put this in and we hope they don't have a... Wait, didn't they reveal a territory color earlier that they put into your hand? So that will block this. Such a beating. Okay, let's see what we get. All right, so options. One, we could brainstorm and hope to find... What are we hoping to find? Fatal Push. I think that's the only card that we can find that can be super useful here. Actually, we would need Fatal Push and land because we have to crack the clue. Alternatively, we can play this, but we know they have territory color. And they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but they can only tap that once. I think I am going to brainstorm here. We know territory. We know that territory color will block that. All right. This is terrible. This is better than nothing. I think we have to crack clue. This does make Nethergoyf a 4/5. Actually, yeah. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep it like that. I'm going to play this out. This is a force block, and then I can still play out my. But I'm no longer confident I'm going to win this game. Yeah, so that is as expected. Territory color is devoid, so it will create another card. Next turn, we will be able to both get a bobble trigger and play this out. Okay, they're cracking. They're sacking that. That's fine. So they've got 4 cards in their hand now. Cavern, which makes Force even worse, but yeah, I mean, it was already bad with Vexing Bubble out. Okay, this is probably territory color. That's fine. That is what we expected to happen. They get a token. We lose a life. We lose another life. If they attack with the Glaring Fleshraker, okay, another bobble. Yeah. Oh, I forgot. They can tap Ancient Tomb because of Carpulse or whatever that is. Yavimaya. Yeah, that's fine. I don't think they're going to attack. They are attacking. Okay. So if we can somehow get this out of play, we can win. What I'm thinking is the best. Well, we know what we're drawing, and it's, yeah, I think it makes sense to go ahead and just play this out now. And next turn, we can start cracking clues and hoping to find something beyond the brainstorm. Actually, we may need 2 turns to draw through, because I think we know what the top card is. So here's the bauble. I can play it out. Oh, beating. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's a bummer. Okay, we'll draw our card here, and it's a Force of Will. No surprise. We can't profitably attack here. We have to just hang back. So yeah, we're no longer favored. And I might scoop pretty quickly here because, well, they're hitting potentially for 7, 9. If they have any spell, they can potentially burn us out. I don't think they'll attack, though, because I think that would be reckless to attack with this. They're certainly not going to be attacking with the Glaring Fleshraker into Nethergoyf. It's definitely not worth sacrificing one of these. We have to find a window. A second Brazen Borrower does it. The game is going to get harder and harder. I think that mistake I made earlier where I didn't attack with Tamiyo and I didn't get a clue, that might be like decisive. Every single card matters at a high level when you're playing against a skilled opponent like Unique Username 3. All right, another territory color. So they had 3 of these this game. It's brutal. Now they can attack in. So I think what I do is I let them attack in, and I hope that, okay, this is over. They're gonna get double triggered. I'm just gonna go to next game. They don't have to worry about their time. They're like an aggro deck, but I do have to worry about my time. Okay, so we're gonna be on the play again. Let's take a look at our list here. Does anything we've seen change how we plan to sideboard? -2 Spellbomb, -2 Thoughtseize, +2 Harbinger, +2 Consign. I don't think Thoughtseize is strong against the aggro deck. Yeah. These are actually actively bad because they have Vexing Bubble. So we could just take those out completely. So Toxic Deluge can come in. I think that would be pretty good here. Harbinger's coming in. Consign to Memory's coming in. Shielder's Edict is not the worst because it can hit a fat creature, which they're playing several. It doesn't strike me as like super strong. And the other cards we plan to take out. Oh, let me just check my list again. Spellbomb. Oh yeah, Thoughtseize. That's right. And you could argue that Thoughtseize should stay in because it does potentially buff, and it can get like a powerful card out of their hand. But I really don't like playing Thoughtseize against aggro decks. It doesn't feel right. Yeah, I mean, we brought an extra 2 sorceries. Well, 1 sorcery. Emperor of Bones is pretty terrible. If we take out Emperor of Bones, we do reduce our threat density a little bit. They don't use their graveyard for anything. There might be something in there that we could put into play, but it seems like a super weak play. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a Thoughtseize back in. Bowmaster doesn't really do anything against them. Long Goodbye. Most of their creatures are too big. Powder Keg can take out now Spellbomb. That's about it. Yeah. You may be wondering, why are we keeping our Dazes in and our Force of Will in against the known Vexing Bubble deck? They may not have Vexing Bubble. They don't have any card selection in their deck. If we have a multi-force hand, we could potentially force it. Oh, this is a great hand. My goodness. This is like pretty perfect. I think we open Nethergoyf. I want to be the aggressor here. And I'm not going to bother playing on basics because basics aren't safe. This is like the one matchup that you're likely to encounter in Legacy right now where basics aren't even safe. All right, so what I'm going to do is next turn I can ponder. What is this? Vexing Bubble. I think I just let it resolve. Borrower's a great pickup. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fetch first. I've learned my lesson that sometimes you want to keep 2 cards from your ponder and then you're like, oh, but I got to fetch to cast things. Okay, so let's go ahead and ponder first. This buffs our Nethergoyf. Wasteland is going to be great. Consign to Memory is great. I'm going to keep Consign to Memory in hand. I I mean, I think actually we wait. Next turn is going to be the critical turn where we use Consign. I'll play a Tamiyo now. And I'm just going to attack for 2. Their mana base does damage to them. Like, this might help restrict their options. Next turn, we have Wasteland and we have Consign. We can even potentially force and consign the trigger if we need to stop. But Consign, I think, counters everything in their deck. This is a card that we need to stop, but we can't. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I think we waste I. Oh. Did we shuffle? Why did we draw? I thought we were going to draw the... okay, well, I did something wrong here because I thought we were going to draw a land here. I thought we were going to draw a Wasteland. All right, well, this needs to come out of play. So it's going to die. We're going to attack with both of these this time and create a clue. And next turn, we'll have Consign and Memory up. One day, someday maybe, we'll be able to cast Consign on one of their threads. Yeah, stacking that wrong might be the big mistake that cost me this game. Last game, it was not attacking with Tamiyo. I should have checked the top card of my deck to see what I would have drawn had I had the clue. All right, so they've got potentially 6 mana. No, wait, it's just potentially 4. Cosmic's Command, I'll take it. I think that is totally reasonable. They are going to be able to scry. 0 top, 2 bottom. Okay, so they got rid of 2 bad cards. Now should be the Wasteland unless yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and take it out now. I'm just going to hit them for 3 and keep up Consign. So I can stop a card and the trigger associated with it. And then if they don't cast anything, I can crack a clue. Okay, Cavern, very strong. Do they have another Glaring Fleshbreaker? Eldrazi Line Breaker. This sucks. I can't actually do anything about this. Well, I can borrow it back to hand. I think that's what I'll do, just to preserve life total. Actually, yeah, I'm not sure if they'll attack with it. Yeah, that's fine. They are indeed attacking. Yeah, I think I'm going to borrow it back. All right. And now I think the play is... It's a terrible draw. I think I am going to ponder just to see if I can find oh, these are good. These are good. We can't immediately use Fatal Push, but when they cast it a second time, if they waste us or something, we could potentially float. I don't think that's likely to happen. Yeah, so I'm going to do it like that, and I'll take the Fatal Push. Double check. So we have instant sorcery land. We can't get any additional types here. I'm just going to attack. So let's say hypothetically they are able to double spell, then we can consign. I would love to brainstorm into a fetch here. That's great. Trying to find a land. They do find a land. Are they going to try to double spell here? Okay, green. This could be the big thing. No, it can't be the big thing. They don't have enough for that. Sowing Mycospawn. Unfortunately, I can't stop it. Oh, wait. No, I don't have enough mana to... So I'm just going to cast with this because I think they're going to go get Eye of Ugin. Yeah, it's sad that I can't actually counter it, but I'll do what I can. Okay, we know we're drawing Brainstorm. So if I find land, I can fetch and I can push, which would be a great tempo positive thing to do. I do find it. This is great. This is great. So I'm going to put back... I think this goes back. This goes back. These are all terrible. Play this out. I'm going to fetch. Get another Underground Sea. Push. And I'm going to just attack. Now, I would love to hold up Consign to do more than just counter one creature or trigger. Because they're probably going to have both. But I don't think we have that luxury. This Nethergoyf is just doing great. Just chugging along. Worst case scenario... We can just play this out for a little additional pressure. I'm so glad we could shuffle away some of those Dazes. I might look like a fool keeping Daze instead of Force if they do have Glaring Fleshbreaker into some sequence of cards. Guess what? That is not an Eldrazi creature. I'm just going to counter it. All right, and we're going to put him dead on board, I think, unless we draw something really good. Yeah, I mean, that's something I can pitch to force. I'll just hold. So if they have another Kozilek's Command, we could do that. They've already done 2. It's unlikely they'll have another one. I'm not sure what saves them here, because I've got this as well. They have to have 2 creatures, and one of them has to have reach. That is something I can counter. I think they'll probably scoop now. All right, and they are kind of playing to the clock here by making me attack because... Oh, do they have something they can do here? Okay, that's fine, but I'm still going to be able to attack for lethal here, unless I'm missing something. Let's just go for lethal, and let's pass. All right, yeah, I think they just did that spatial contortion thing to reduce my clock. I do play very slowly, and sometimes my opponents will kind of use that against me. And part of that is because I like to think through my lines very carefully, and the other part of that is I want to make sure that I talk through all my lines and that I share interesting insights with you, because the reason you're watching this is hopefully to learn. I'm not like a pro level player. It's not like watching Reed Duke. Reed Duke can play and like just play, and you can kind of watch, and he doesn't need to necessarily say all of his thoughts, and it's still beneficial just watching him. Like he's not a super talkative kind of like MTGO player, in my humble opinion, but he is an amazing player. And if you want to learn, you can learn from watching him act, but hopefully you can learn a little bit from watching me think. I don't think there are any big substitutions. Thoughtseize feels pretty weak on the draw here. I mean, Long Goodbye, it's also pretty weak. Powder Keg doesn't seem good. I think we probably put the Emperor Bones back in, just because we might be able to get some cool trigger with it. We don't actually get... Actually, this is bad because we don't get the cast triggers. We just get like, yeah, I'm not sure what to bring in. I guess I'll bring one of these in just to have an additional threat. I mean, there was a game, I think game 1, if we'd been able to poke them, we could have won. But because, well, no, they were at 3. Yeah, it was close. They couldn't tap their Ancient Tomb, but they could tap it thanks to Yavimaya. I don't know. I don't think... okay, so let's take a look. Double Nethergoyf hand, Harbinger hand. This is a snap keep. So what we need to do is we need to get our basics. Basic island, basic swamp, and then we slam the Harbinger the moment we get a chance. I haven't seen any Mox Diamonds or anything in this list that they're playing. Okay, that's great. That's land number 3. I think we start by just getting another Nethergoyf out, and that hopefully will distract them, and like a Kozilek Command will take it out, and we'll just get a little more time to build up our mana base. Daze is nice, but I don't want to not play Nethergoyf out just to have access to Daze. Daze will potentially be relevant next turn too. Okay, let's see if they have... Now they can potentially Kozilek's Command and exile this if they'd like, and get maybe some colorless tokens, but they'll probably scry. They've been scrying. Glaring Fleshraker, we wouldn't have been able to Daze that anyway. Oh wait, actually, yeah, I think we might have been able to Daze that. Okay. Fatal Push is the best draw on the deck. This Glaring Fleshraker is a huge problem because it's a source of colorless mana generation. Yeah, I think what we do here is I want to Brainstorm and then push. So I could fetch an island and then Brainstorm and then push if I find it. I think I'm going to do that because this is such a big problem. The Brainstorm will make this big enough that it could potentially win combat anyway. I'm going to go ahead and attack just in case they block it, which I don't think they will. Okay. Now I'm going to Brainstorm. So I do have Revolt. Yeah, these can go back. I'm going to play this out just as a potential blocker. Next turn we have Harbinger if they don't Sowing Mycospawn us. That's Sowing Mycospawn mana if I've ever seen it. If they go after our swamp, they basically cut us off most of our win conditions in our deck. Is this the big guy? Kozilek's Command, okay. That he's going to create some tokens that they'll later be able to use. Okay. As long as this stays on the table, like even with Harbinger out, they will have a source. I could have dazed that. Damn, that was a dumb play. I could have totally dazed that, I think, because yeah, that was a misplay. All right, so what I'm going to do here, they are attacking. All right, let's think about this. Okay, so we know we have, I think it's a Underground Sea on top. So I do want to fetch. I'm going to fetch and get an island. No, wait, I already have my only island. I only have one island in this deck. I've been playing the deck that has more than one island. I think it's fine to go ahead and attack here. They're not going to block. I don't think we can win if we don't play this out. I'm going to play it out. I think Psychic Frog could work, but the sooner we cut them off mana, they've got basically one trigger off this, but they'll get another card. There you go anyway. So it doesn't really even matter. This does deny them a little bit of mana. So this is a 1 mana, 2 mana, 3 mana, 4, 5. They have 5 mana potentially. We can daze if they try to play the really big thing. Well, start by dazing that. All right, it gets countered. They get a spawn. So it's like they can always just reuse this, but they have the waste anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay, hear me out. We trade here. We take the most powerful permanent off the table. I don't think this is the play. I think we let it through, and we just keep attacking them. Because we can potentially aggro them. This is 2 power. The eye is so powerful that I think that it's worth keeping this around. Okay, so here's what I think we do. I'm just going to Psychic Frog and Tamiyo. I'll go ahead and attack first. Yeah, they will not block either of these, I don't believe. Okay, now we will Psychic Frog and we'll Tamiyo. So we've got our aggressive plan on the table. We can actually chump or just block Glaring Fleshraker if we want to. I don't think they'll attack with it anymore. I think that'd be a mistake. Now they have a lot of potential targets. Do they have another Kozilek's Command? Okay, Thought-Knot Seer hits nothing. That's fine. They do get a token. They do burn us. They get 2 tokens. So if they burn us twice, it's just such a crazy card. Like, why did they print this card? I don't know how they could look at that and think that that's not like an extremely overpowered Magic the Gathering card. All right, and they've got 2 of these tokens and the waste. So this is really bad now. Okay, Ponder does put a sorcery type in the graveyard. I am going to go ahead and use it. If I can find a Fatal Push. Another Nethergoyf is not terrible. Nethergoyf's are 3/4 here. They'll be 4/5 if one of our creatures dies. Okay, I think we can attack in, and we could even discard Nethergoyf to Psychic Frog if we needed to. And I think we don't jump the frog. I'm willing to discard my entire hand, depending on what they do here. Oh, they're double blocking. Interesting. Well, I think if that's the case, I just take out the Fleshraker. That's the more problematic card. We get a card. Oh, so I already drew. There's no point in discarding now. I should have discarded a minute ago. Yeah, that's fine. This flips. I'm going to plus play out a Nethergoyf here. It's now big enough to stop them. We can even start recurring Nethergoyfs next turn. I'm hoping that we've restricted their mana at least a little. They can't profitably attack him with Thought-Knot. All right, great. All right, we don't have a Fatal Push to return yet. I can't remember what this card we're drawing. Oh, another Tamiyo. Yeah, I think we just attack with Nethergoyf. Psychic Frog here. I'm not going to make them fly. They can potentially... I will pitch basically my entire hand here if I need to. Okay, they're just going to let it through. Okay, they're going to do it like that. That's fine. All right, so I'm just going to... I could minus and get Brainstorm. I think that's not terrible. Actually, Ponder's better because I don't have a shuffle. I'll get a Ponder here. I'm gonna Ponder. I'll Ponder off this. Doesn't matter. I've got 2 minutes and... Okay, this is great. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play out a land. Just going to crack my clue. And I'm going to push this now. All right. And we can start recurring that every turn. I just need to play quickly, and I think we can win. They have 1 waste. That's like their sole source of mana. Okay, they're just passing. Interesting. So, importantly, with 1 waste, they cannot Kozilek's Command. Consign to memory should lock the game up. I'm just going to attack with everything. They are not dead on board, are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll just do it as a multi-turn attack. I will discard this, I guess. Yeah, sure. Okay, we get a card. I'll play a land just in case I need to like do a mega replicate or something. 1 minute 37. This card has been so powerful. All right, we did it. Good games. Yeah, I mean, this card just was MVP. Like, it may not be visible, but like I wouldn't be surprised if they had just like a ton of stuff. That felt great. To beat Eldrazi is a great feeling. And it's not like we got lucky and just cheesed them or anything. Like, I feel like we did beat them through tactically applying pressure and, planning toward a world where we could somehow get the... I think they made a critical mistake in putting Glaring Fleshraker in front of our Nethergoyf. Like, they should never have let Glaring Fleshraker die, in my opinion. And they probably shouldn't have blocked and used up... Because they needed the colorless mana to be able to cast cards in their hand. Now, I don't know what was in their hand, but Kozilek's Command, they only need 1 colorless mana. I guess they had the waste, but like they need... If they're going to Kozilek's Command, they need a second one. And if they're going to multi-spell, they're going to need a lot of colorless mana. They can basically keep going forever with the Glaring Fleshraker out because it keeps producing mana each time. So, yeah, I will stand by that observation that I think it was wrong to block with Glaring Fleshraker there. All right, round 3, we were up again against an Eldrazi player. This player is playing the It That Heralds the End build that is a little bit bigger. It's got 4 Devours, 4 Null Drifters. We're going to want to end this one quickly because it's going to get worse and worse the longer the game goes on. This hand doesn't have a colorless source. I think even on the draw, like the odds of screwing them are very low. They have 25 lands. I don't think Wasteland is really just for like targeted permanent disruption. It's not for this is a much better hand. Okay, so I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put back this Underground Sea, and I'm going to hope to turn 1 Nethergoyf, turn 2 Thoughtseize Nethergoyf. That's how we want this to go down. All right, and because we're so dependent on black mana, I think it's totally fine to get a swamp here. All right, we got our 1/2. So things that they could be doing, like potentially Kozilek's Command, just value to get rid of this and draw a card. That's a 2-for-1. Okay. That is unfortunate because that's basically like, hopefully they put the Thoughtseize in the graveyard because we wanted to put that away anyway, but I don't think they're going to do that. I wouldn't be surprised if they take Brainstorm here. Actually, Thoughtseize has to get this exiles the card, so we're not going to get the Nethergoyf bonus if they put Thoughtseize into the void. It's not technically going into the void. It's just exiled. Removed from the game. I just love the art on this. This guy looks so uncomfortable. I've played against this player a lot. They're pretty good. I mean, just look at their finishes. Eldrazi. They've got lots of 5-0s. Second in a Legacy Challenge. They are seasoned Eldrazi player. Assuming it's not 2 people like talking through moves together and stuff. Maybe 2 or 3 people in like a giant trench coat. All right, they're taking a long time to decide what to do here. I would definitely take the Nethergoyf here just because it is most likely to spiral out of control. But they know their deck much better than I do. Okay, they took Brainstorm. That's fine. It's actually, I guess I had sorceries either way. So what I want to do here is, Yeah, I think I still am on the Thoughtseize. Let's Thoughtseize first and see their hand. If they have a Wasteland, then we need a plan for that contingency, probably Ponder. They have Soaking Mica Spawn and Wasteland. And they can cast. So they can basically put us on 0 permanents next turn. Or zero lands. I guess the question then is, so Tamiyo is not going to be a good play, I don't think. They have the green source, so they can go green, 1, 2, 3, 4. They can't quite kicker it. Looking at our hand, they might just play Chalice next turn. They actually don't. Yeah, they would have to play Forest and then Chalice, or Wasteland and then Chalice. I kind of think putting the Nethergoyf into play is correct here. I can take the... Well, oh, yeah, I can take one of these cards. What am I talking about? Well, I'm going to obviously take Soaking Mica Spawn. That card's just bonkers. And then I can cast things into... Actually, yeah, I think I am going to go ahead and get this Ponder out of my hand. Because I might be able to find another land. A Wasteland would be great. There we go. Or both. Okay, so we're going to take Daze next turn, or Wasteland next turn. We're going to take Daze this turn. And our goal is to get rid of the eye. I think likely they're going to waste our Underground Sea here. So if they waste our Underground Sea, then that does kind of screw up our plans a little bit, doesn't it? Yeah, that's fine. Now we don't have Daze anymore, so yeah, this resolves. It's now a 5/5. It's gonna be harder to kill. I think we lost this one. Wow, they have 2 of them. 6/6. Damn. Yeah, that's powerful. Nethergoyf is not gonna be able to erase this. We don't even have a way to get these cards into our graveyard. So we can Wasteland and Nethergoyf next turn, but it's gonna be like, yeah, it's pretty sad. We're definitely going after the eye. I'm definitely casting another Nethergoyf. And we're just going to wait, and we can't trade with this, but we are deterring them from attacking. Well, we're not even really deterring them from attacking. But I will probably double block if they do attack here. I may have taken the wrong card. Chalice is fine. It doesn't really affect anything. Okay, they're just attacking for 6. I'll take it. What I need really badly is a land. That doesn't do anything. Yeah, we just have to hang back and chump. But once we chump, this one will become a 3/4. Actually, they have lethal on board. They should just attack with everything. Yeah, I'm going to concede. Yeah, they just freaking destroyed me. Yeah, that was brutal. And yeah, so we have, the good news is we have good sideboard cards and we're on the play. We weren't on the play that game, and I think that mattered a lot. I do think the Soaking Mica Spawn was the take there, though, because we would have lost not only the lands that we had, but we probably would have lost, future lands. If you follow me, like, they waste and then we finally find a land and then they exile and get another Wasteland, right? Okay, so let's just do what we did last game, which is Harbinger of the Sea comes in, Consign to Memory comes in. Bobble is terrible because they have... Actually, they may be... Because they're playing Chalice, maybe it's not as terrible. Okay, let's... Because they're not going to Chalice for 0, I don't think. They could actually Chalice for 0. Sometimes they do that in order to just create damage off of Glaring Fleshraker. Powder Keg does potentially answer Chalice. It also potentially answers like lots of little small things they might have. It feels really weak, though. I think Sheoldred's Edict is not the worst. Okay, and what's coming out? I feel like I'm not going to take out Daze. Daze is good because a lot of times they make kind of greedy decisions. All right, I'm not going to put these in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my sideboard guide again, see what my sideboard guide says, because this is actually a very stock Eldrazi. Like, they're playing pretty optimal. Yeah. So we are going to need to take one more card out, but I'm going to take out all the artifacts. These don't do anything. These not only get countered by Chalice, but they also don't do anything. So unfortunately, that means we're not going to have any artifacts, and the biggest our creature can get is 4/5, but it's not the worst. I think Emperor is the cut too. It's just really weak against them. Yeah, let's do it. And you might be asking, why didn't we bring in Children's Edict? Most of their creature cards are like, the actual body is kind of like beside the point. Like the real thing, the body's what kills you, but what really dooms you is I think I do keep this, because this is Nethergoyf into Repeated Wastelands. And I like that Force of Will too. Leyline. Did not even think that was not even on my radar. Yeah, that does completely stop our hand, doesn't it? I'm just going to play this land and I'm going to pass. And I'm just going to start wasting. Like, there's no point in playing this out. I can brainstorm it back. If I find a Brazen Borrower, that'll be great. But I've got 2 of those in my entire deck. Well, yeah. They open Wasteland. So they highly prioritized this Leyline. I mean, it affects really just 4 cards in our entire deck, but we happen to have one of those cards in our hand. So I think what I do here is I'm going to play this out and I'm going to see what they do. And if they Wasteland, I will take the opportunity to brainstorm and get a shovel. And they're, of course, playing... Okay, interesting. Waste. That's a good card for them to have. Okay, yeah. I'm going to... And they're... Interestingly, they're doing it in main. This is just like a... Different players have different reasons for doing things at different times. Well, I'm going to put these back. These are totally dead. Okay. And now I'm going to go ahead and get an island. I can't get an island. I'm going to get an underground sea. I need to shuffle and get something. I don't think getting a swamp is good here. I'm going to hope that they don't have another wasteland, because I am going to be able to potentially brainstorm and find some action here. Toxic Deluge is potentially good. I'm not going to miss a land drop. Well, let's see. We have Force up now. I think I'm going to play this out, and I'll just be ready to brainstorm if they waste my underground sea. They don't have any other basics in their deck except for maybe a forest. So this is going to hit something. We also now have technically left the battlefield. So even though it doesn't go to graveyard, we still get the bonus here. I'm just going to... I'm going to wait. Let's draw another card. If we find a fetch, then we can put some stuff back. Okay. I'm going to waste here. See what they do. Okay, and now I'm just going to play another one, and I'm going to pass. And we're just going to keep repeating until one of us blinks. One of us has something relevant to do. But it's clear they don't have a 3-drop, or they could have a 3-drop, and they just don't want it to get dazed. Okay, I is a great target. Okay, so I'm just going to wait. All right, this is a multi-turn line, but I am going to go ahead and get rid of this now. And now I'm going to play out my Tamiyo. It's worth noting that Tamiyo plus Toxic Deluge, like we can get Tamiyo out of the way and we can clear the board and we can potentially ultimate with her. This is a really interesting game. I'm glad they opened Leyline, because it makes this game really interesting. I've never played a game against Eldrazi where they brought in Leyline. Okay, Cavern. I may not waste that. I'm not sure. Let's see what I draw. If I draw a fetch, I'm definitely playing it out, and I'm not prioritizing hitting that as hard. Okay, what are they doing here? Oh, dismember? Okay, so options. 1, we could force to save her, giving up both our force and our brainstorm, and then we wouldn't have a way to flip her. I think we just let this happen. Yep, I did not, that wasn't on my radar, but we didn't have another mana to be able to do anything anyway, so... They kind of know that I might have had a force by the way I waited. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just play out Vexing Bubble here or something like that. All right. Okay, this is good. I do think we... Okay, so options. 1, just play at the island and pass. Option 2, waste. Option 3, brainstorm and hope to hit a fetch land so we can put back some of these lands. I like the idea of playing out the land and just waiting another turn. If they play out an Eye of Ugin, I definitely want to use the wasteland on that. If they just have some explosive turn where they put a bunch of stuff into play, I want to use the mana from wasteland to Toxic Deluge. Also, the Wasteland does turn on Fatal Push for future Fatal Pushes. Blue mana. This is Declaring Fleshraker. I'm going to let this resolve, and then next turn I'm going to waste and I'm going to push. That's fine. We'll take a damage here. If they just play out a ton of stuff, I might just Toxic Deluge. Okay, they're not playing out a bunch of stuff. I'm fine with just leaving this token and getting rid of both the Eldrazi Temple and the Fleshraker this turn. All right, that's a bad draw, in my opinion. I think it makes sense to just get rid of it now. They're down to 3 cards. The scariest thing they could do this turn would probably be to play like Eye of Ugin, and then maybe, every card they draw is just so potentially oppressive. I do think it was correct to go for that. There's the Eye of Ugin. Okay. And now they're going to exile a bunch of my cards. They've got 6 mana in the pool. Yeah, we lost. They're going to be able to get both my lands. I'm going to concede. I'm not going to play this anymore. I don't think there's any path to victory here. We would have to draw 2 lands, and we would have to do a lot of stuff. So the game really came down to me just not having anything to do. I don't think that being able to flip Tamiyo would have been that massive anyway. I don't have the ability to recur or anything, so I would have just been sitting there waiting, trying to get her to go up. They probably would have had K command. Let's see what we would have drawn. We weren't drawing anything good. Yeah, that's disappointing, but I mean, we got Eldrazi. Let's go to round 4. All right, we're up against Painter Enthusiast Grindstone Cowboy, who is most likely on, let's see, this was first place in the Legacy Challenge from a few days ago. First place. Painter is very ascendant. That's one of the reasons why I'm playing so many black cards, because I don't want a bunch of my blue cards to get blasted. But they are going to find plenty of blue cards to hit here. Error in my system. I'm going to Okay, we're on the play. This is a pretty good hand against them. It's very mana heavy, but Fatal Push is good, and we do want to get a clock going. They don't really have good ways of dealing with creatures other than they maybe have like a bolt or 2 in their deck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, I'll go get a basic, and I'll just play the Nethergoyf. Next turn, I'm definitely going to just probably go basic island into Psychic Frog. Actually, I'll probably play out Underground Sea next turn because I want to keep revolting in case I need it for the Fatal Push. Because they do have a lot of 3-drop things that we need to worry about, like Phyrexian Dragon Engine. Opal. Tomb. Painter. Okay. Everything's blue. We're going to push the Painter now. We don't mess around with Painter. Actually, are we? I don't know that we are. The problem is, if they untap, suddenly our Fatal Push is blastable. So, options. 1, we attack in. They're probably just going to block. Option 2, we play Psychic Frog. We have double. Okay. What are the chances that they have another Ancient Tomb plus Grindstone to kill us next turn? Low. I think it's fine to go ahead and play out the Psychic Frog here. Actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and push it. I'm going to play out the Psychic Frog first, and then this will put them in a situation where they may have to think twice about blocking Nethergoyf. Okay, so they just took it. That's great. I'm not going to pitch cards here. All right, there's the Urza Saga. This is where things get scary because they can go get the Grindstone. All right, they are not attacking in. They are very much on the get Grindstone and grind me out plan, I think. So what I think I want to do first is probably just push and then attack. So I'll go ahead and attack now, and then I will push here. They might have Blast. Okay. They didn't have Blast, so I'm going to connect. I get to draw a card. Next turn, they're going to start being able to crank out constructs. Emperor of Bones is good. We can Emperor of Bones to get their Painter Servant next turn. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to play another Psychic Frog. And we're going to try to overwhelm them. It's going to be like the movie Magnolia up in here with just frogs flying out of the sky. All right. They have a red source now. They actually didn't have one earlier. Fable's fine. This does mean they're not going to create a construct. This also may mean that they have another painter in hand. All right. So I think what we do here is I am going to, if I play out Wasteland, I can hit the Ancient Tomb. I think that's good. This is going to disappear. Let's think. Okay. So we play Emperor of Bones. We put this under here. I like that. Emperor of Bones. Now we're going to attack. I'll just target their painter. I have to click painter. Okay. Now I'm going to attack with everything. I'm going to minimize the amount of information I give them. I don't think they're going to block this. I think they need to create tokens to be able to turn on their Mox Opal. Okay, we get 2 cards here. All right, very good. Okay, so now what I think we do is I don't really care about them getting an artifact. Actually, they're so low in life that I think it does make sense to go ahead and waste this. I'm going to waste this. And I think I'll wait till upkeep to push this. But they could have a red elemental blast. I'm just going to push now. This does change like their calculations for how they handle Fable, but I don't want this to get blasted because I don't want them to have any mana. I want to deny the mana. They're going to have to tap to get mana and potentially take 2 damage here. I can't wait to change these Psychic Frogs out for Bowmasters. They've been great here. Oh, they have Chaos Defiler. That's scary. But actually, if I can get Emperor of Bones on the table, then Chaos Defiler becomes something I can cast. That's fine. I don't know what their plan is here. Painter is good. Okay. So now I'm just going to put Chaos Defiler under Painter, under Emperor, and then I will adapt. Oh. So let's go ahead and I think we play out the land first. We don't have a sorcery in our graveyard. I think it makes sense to go ahead and ponder first. Just to buff the Nethergoyf. Oh, we're in upkeep. I'm sorry. Grindstone Cowboy probably thinks I'm a fool. Okay, we drew a card we don't really want, but it's a potentially, it may give us lethal here. I think Daze is not terrible here. Actually, yeah, I'm trying to think if any of this even matters, but let's pretend it does. Let's play tight. I think we take Brainstorm here. Now I can Brainstorm. I'll get my artifact back. I can put that into my graveyard. I'm going to put back some of these lands. I'm going to go get a land. Again, like, you can't be too careful against Painter. It's a really strong deck. I'll go ahead and get an island here. I'll play this out. Let's see what their top card is. Just get a little more information about the deck. I think we probably have perfect, yeah. So they're drawing something that's dead. Okay, now I'm going to go to combat. This is going to exile Chaos Defiler. Okay, and we are going to adapt. Oh, can I not do that now? Okay, well, I can't do it immediately, but I will adapt it in just a second. Before blocks. Okay, and they scoop. Yeah, this was actually a really good card against them. I'm surprised that they put Chaos Defiler in the graveyard. I think it was a desperation thing because they should have known I could wield it against them. I think they just had to churn through the deck a little bit. So, Powder Keg definitely coming in. I think, as I said earlier, we take out the Bowmasters and we bring in, or we take out the Psychic Frogs and bring in Bowmaster. We're going to bring in the Hydroblast for sure. Consign to Memory is not terrible. Let's take a look at our sideboard guard real quick. So Painter, -4 Psychic Frog, -4 Force of Will or Daze, +4. Okay, so we should bring in Powder Keg. Oh, we did that. We need to bring in Toxic Deluge, and we can take out a few of our counter spells. On the draw, I think Daze is a pretty good card to take out. Toxic Deluge. I feel like Long Goodbye is actually pretty good here because this is like a uncounterable answer to a lot of their deck. Yeah, I think we take that out, and I'm going to take one of our forces out. Force is pretty bad here. I mean, we do want some counter magic, but yeah. Cool. I think I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to update our sideboard guide to include Long Goodbye. Long Goodbye has been good so far. Okay. This is a mulligan. Don't have to think too hard about that mulligan. This is a keep. Tamiyo is pretty weak here. I think we're better off just Nethergoyfing a bunch, hoping they don't completely slaughter us. Let's see. If we Tamiyo, we can protect her, but again, yeah, we have to put back a card. We don't expect them to waste us. We could put back a land. I feel like that's greedy. Yeah, I'm gonna put Tamiyo back. All Tamiyo does really is eat a Hydroblast or a Pyroblast. Okay, pedal. See how explosive their opener is. Okay, that's not too bad. I mean, always kind of happy to see pedal because that's not like a Babel of the Mirror Breaker or something like that. It's just like a 1 mana, one off. All right, we got a Tamiyo anyway. That's fine. I think we do need to get a basic. Well, we can't get a basic and play out Nethergoyf. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a basic here, and I'm going to play a Tamiyo. I just don't think, because Blood Moon is something that they can come down, or Magus of the Moon, or both. Yeah, let's take a look at their deck real quick. I just want to confirm 2 Magus in the Moon and 2 Blood Moon. So that is potentially part of the plan here. With blue on our side, we're drawing to Hydroblast. All right, nice white border mountain. Bowmasters, yeah, that's a good card against us. All right, that's a really good card against our hand. So I think I'm going to hold it as an element of surprise here. Do I want to hold it as an element of surprise? Okay, options. I don't know they're going to try to aggro us. I might be overthinking it. Yeah, I definitely want to Bowmasters this turn cycle. I'll just wait. There's no reason to use it right now. All right, I'm just going to do it. Black, blue, Bowmasters. This does make my sideboard strategy even stronger. I'm going to let this through. I don't really care about my life. I'm going to be aggroing them with my Nethergoyfs here. Bowmasters is actively good against their deck because they do have a surprising amount of card draw in their deck. Between like the Vexing Baubles, the Phyrexian Dragon Engines, a lot of stuff. Pyroblast is fine. I don't care that she did her job. She actually yielded me a clue for the trouble. That's quite good. All right, land would be good. There we go. They could have another Bowmasters. I think I'm just going to play a land, play another Nethergoyf. I could attack here. I think that's fine. I'm going to attack with both. And then I'll play the second Nethergoyf out for combat. I should have probably just waited and cast that afterward. Okay, so they're taking 2. All right, and I'm just going to play the second Nethergoyf and put them on watch, put them on notice. We could ponder here. I don't like that. It does buff the Goyfs. We can do it next turn, and we can have the ability to brainstorm if they do have a Bowmasters. All right, they're taking some damage. Another Bowmaster. That's quite good. Okay. Well, they just kind of... Well, actually, never mind. That doesn't... I was about to say they made a mistake, but we already had a creature in our graveyard. And they may have reasons for getting rid of the Bowmasters anyway. Mox Opal. 2 cards left in hand. Painter. Okay, so now if they can find Chalice or if they have Natural Grindstone, we're in serious trouble. They might paint everything blue and... Oh, interesting. Why green? I can't think of a reason why they would paint things blue there. I'm sure they have a good reason. They're like a seasoned player. Okay, so I think we play this out. I hate to do this, but I think it's the correct play. Is to ponder here. Because if we can find another Bowmasters, we can get this monkey off our back. Now Spellbomb does make them even bigger. Wasteland's important. I think what we do is we take the Now Spellbomb. Yeah, we're going to take a damage. That sucks, but I'm going to play this out. And now I'm going to attack with my 3/4s, which can become 4/5s. And I'm going to be the aggro deck. Your move, Mr. Ancient Tomb over there. That's fine. That makes the army quite a bit bigger, doesn't it? Okay. So even if we crack the Now Spellbomb, well, I am going to crack it. I'm not going to draw. I think that would be a mistake here. I can draw anytime I want with the clue. What I really want them to do is just play out a I'm definitely the beatdown here. They killed one of them, but I can bring Nethergoyf back if I need to. Wasteland will stop Urza Saga, which is the scariest thing they can do here. This is their one card in hand. Vexing Bauble is fine. Cracking it immediately. No Bowmasters for me to punish. I don't think drawing a Wasteland is good enough now. They're going to hold back and potentially team block. Goblin Engineer is terrifying. It gives them the kill next turn. I'm not going to brainstorm into this, but I am going to need to potentially brainstorm next turn. I'll just let this happen. I have to find another Now Spellbomb. I mean, I still think it was correct to kill their Orc army there, but this is the danger. Dragon Engine is not actually nearly as scary as what they could have done. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and crack, and I'm going to give the Swamp, basic Swamp. I don't really care about their mana base right now. What I care about is if we crack this, we do get a card, but we also give them a potential blocker. Oh, they have double Bowmaster because of the different art. I didn't think about that. Yeah. All right. I think we just have to draw. I mean, that's really freaking good here. They can still bring this back though. That's a serious problem. If we bring this back, we get exile 1, 2, 3, 4. It'd be like a 3/3. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack first. See what they do here. If they just let this through, that's totally chill with me. Wow. Okay. So they are totally not on the Painter plan, it looks like. All right. Let's think about this. So options. 1, we Hydroblast the Goblin Engineer just to get it off the table. They could potentially Phyrexian Dragon Engine next turn. I'm almost certain that's what they're going to do, but they will have to tap this to do it because it costs 5 to do that. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to do that. Cast. And I do think it's correct to bring Nethergoyf back here. So we're going to Nethergoyf. We're going to go 1. I think land is the easiest to get. 2. Wait, that actually doesn't work. 2. We have instant already. 3. Sorcery is the most scarce. Sorcery is not as scarce, but our sorceries are all pretty bad. I think I'll do that. Yeah, this does make it a lot smaller. They're like 2 3s now or something like that. 3 4s. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think it's still fine. So I do imagine Dragon Engine is going to come back here, but they're going to have to pay 2 life to do it. Maybe they won't. Yeah, they will. Okay, that's fine. They get an entire new hand. Very scary stuff. Nothing we could have done about it, I don't think. So the fact that this is double strike, they have another painter. Okay. They already played out their land, so they're not going to be able to. I'll just take it. So if this dies, then it gets exiled. But wait, it's unearthed, so it's dead at the end of the turn. So there's no reason to block. I'll just take the damage. We have a lot of damage on table. My understanding is this does get exiled instead because they did unearth it. That does work. I think we just attack, and we hopefully they put one of these Bowmasters in front of it. Okay, they're going deep. Do they have a win? Am I missing something? I think I just have to chill. I don't think it's worth bringing everything back. Keep cards in my hand. Bowmasters would be an amazing draw here. I think we just have to chill and like take 3 here. They may have some crazy top deck like an Engineer, Snaring Bridge. That's not game over, but that they should have attacked first. Okay. All right, so Bowmasters is what we're looking for here. Thoughtseize does put a new type in our graveyard, but it doesn't immediately help us. I think I just hold it. I can hold it to like potentially surprise them with the size of Nethergoyf later, but we do have to find a Brazen Borrower to bounce that back to hand. Goblin Engineer is such a powerful top deck. My goodness. So options. There's no option here. They're just going to put something powerful. I think we lost this one. They've got Painter Servant. I think, can they win now? Grindstone. If they go for it, I'm going to brainstorm and try to find a... oh, there's the Bowmasters. Okay, so here's what I think we do. Bowmasters to kill one of their Bowmasters, and then we can potentially brainstorm. That's still pretty bad. Yeah, because we do that, and then they're just going to Bowmaster our Bowmaster. But what they can do is they can return Painter, and then they can return Grindstone. I'm just going to concede. I'm not going to show them any more information. I think there's a game 3, right? That was just game 2? Yeah, 1-1. Okay, cool. So our aggro plan did not work, but we have almost 9 minutes. We were playing super slow, just super carefully. I like the sideboard strategy. I'm going to take out the Dazes, or the forces. I'm going to bring in Dazes. Not a lot of Dazes, but some. Yeah, I think this is fine. Actually, if they're playing Bowmasters, it does kind of make me want to take Bobble out. And we could bring in Daze number 4 and a Shield's Edict. Consign to Memory could be good here, but most of the cards we want to counter are not the artifacts, they're the red cards. Yeah. We've got tons of removal in this deck, which is, removal is what you want against Painter, in my humble opinion. All right. This is a keep. Absolutely a keep. It's not a super aggressive hand, but as I said, Bowmasters is quite good against them. So I think we start with Island Ponder. These are all insane. Absolutely insane. We're keeping all of them. What I'll do is I will just keep them like that. All right, and I'm going to try to play quick because I don't want to get into a situation where we are in like a real grinder against Grindstone Cowboy. All right. Vexing Ball was fine. So I think here... Yeah, I'll play this out, and then we have... Oh, no, I'm going to go get an Underground Sea. I do need to play Nethergoyf this turn. Toxic Deluge may not be that big of a deal. That's what we shuffled away there. I think I might actually just Ponder again, just for momentum. These are good. So these are really good. So I'm going to definitely put Daze in my hand now. And if we Daze something... Well, actually, we can't Daze because of Vexing Bubble, but it's not the end of the world. Like they may crack it if we get them in a corner. Okay, Ancient Tomb. Painter Servant is fine. We can push Painter Servant. This might be a Bolt or a Power Blast. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's disappointing, but... Okay, so here, I think we do want Nal Spellbomb out. Nal Spellbomb does grow the Nethergoyf when we return him eventually. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to start by pushing. Just get it off the table. And now we have both Bowmasters and we have Hardcast Daze. And I don't think there's anything we need to worry about where like we don't have a chance to play the Nile Spellbomb. I think we'll always get a chance to play it. Okay, that's very good for them. Goblin Engineer. Okay, so I have Pyroblast on top of my deck. I'm going to Pyroblast this. All right, I will put back these very good cards for later. Actually, Daze, I wouldn't mind shuffling it away. It's not going to help right here. Yeah, this is a must counter card, in my opinion. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to Thoughtseize them to see what's in their hand. Well, that's easy. They have a terrible hand. I think we're in extremely good position. I wouldn't be surprised if they crack this Bobble next turn, but they do have the ability to... Let's see, what do we do here? Yeah, I think we just wait and see if they crack a Bobble. I'm not going to play out the Nile Spellbomb yet. I don't want them to know that that's in our hand. So in their hand, just to be clear, they had... Yeah, that's fine. So we did basically just stop the combo, essentially. Okay. I think we just play this out. I don't think it serves us to keep it in our hand. They didn't Vexing Bubble in response. Okay. I think we just Nethergoyf here. Exile, sorcery, instant, land. Oh, I don't have another type, do I? Yep, that was a waste of time. Okay, sorry about that, opponent. I am going to put this out there, though. Okay, and I think what they're going to probably do is just create a bunch of Saga tokens, which is going to be a problem. We do have Daze up, but I wouldn't be surprised if they get, like, the Spear, Soul Spear, Shadow Spear here, and then just start attacking me a whole bunch and trying to aggro me with these constructs. I don't have any... normally I like to play Dress Down, but I'm not playing Dress Down because it makes your Nethergoyfs like 0/1s and makes them super vulnerable. Okay, they are hitting my Nethergoyf. That's fine. They have 5/5s now. That's a lot of damage. All right, so I am going to go ahead and use my Nail Spellbomb here. I can't afford to stand still. Okay. All right, so we really need like a Brazen Borrower. I mean, that's not the worst. I'm gonna wait and see what I draw before I do this because I don't want to redraw anything. Okay. They are exiling our graveyard, which is fine. Nobody gets graveyards here. All right, let's see. So if I Tamiyo, I can deep buffer. I think that's probably better than... Okay, so if I Tamiyo and then I attack, and then I Brainstorm, like she is in a extremely vulnerable state. I don't think Tamiyo is good enough. All right, so let's put a Tamiyo back. Actually, let's put both of these Dazes back because Tamiyo, we might be able to like distract them with Tamiyo somehow, attract some blasts. These Dazes are not doing anything at this point in the game. I'll play this out. I'm gonna go ahead and fetch, just so I can F6 through the turn. Play out a Tamiyo, and I'm gonna pass. We're totally on the defensive here. They have 3 cards in hand to our 2. I'm just going to take it all. I don't think it really matters that much. Like, we can jump next turn. Oh, they do play Lightning Bolt, maybe. I'll feel dumb if I get bolted. I mean, I was going to lose anyway, but yeah. All right. Okay, Hydroblast is good card in general. I'm just going to attack with Tamiyo. Just like, I'm definitely attacking with her. Okay, and boom, boom, clue, Brazen Borrower. That's very unfortunate for us. Yeah, that is going to hit us, and I think that's probably game. If we find our own Borrower, it's not the worst, but like, Borrower is not the worst. Okay, that's basically what we wanted. Yeah, they're going to be able to take that out. We can bounce 1, but then we don't actually have... Yeah, we're dead. Because we can only bounce 1. We can't deal with them attacking in, so good games. Right, I don't think I played that right. I feel like... I feel like I had a pretty strong hand. I don't know. Maybe there was nothing I could have done. I'm trying to identify any specific punts that I made. I can't. I don't think exiling the graveyard was a mistake. To draw a card to get further into our deck. I don't think trying to crack a clue there to draw some action was... I mean, had they not had this, let's see what we would have drawn. Okay, Emperor is very strong. So we would have been able to borrow. We would have been able to Emperor and potentially, exile. Actually, there wasn't anything to exile, but we could still adapt this and potentially trade with one of them. Let's draw even deeper. Okay, yeah, and eventually we would have gotten 2 Bowmasters, but we would have drawn through a bunch of craft first. I mean, we might have been able to keep generating clues off Tamiyo. Yeah, it's hard to say. All right, let's go to round 5. We are 1-1, or we're 2-2. All right, we're back for the final round of the league against likely Painter again. Very popular deck, very powerful deck. Let's see if we can do a little bit better than we did last time. I liked our sideboarding strategy. They're not going to go after a mana. I think we keep this and we open Tamiyo, and we can protect her if necessary. We're on the draw. Yeah, I'm going to do this. They have a lot of blasts in their deck. Our deck is very blue. I think Fatal Push is a nice addition to our hand. I will probably force aggressively here if I think I can get like a force on something that's not going to get blasted if they open. Oh, they're on a different deck. Okay, well, I'm going to be fetching basic probably here. I could basic swamp into push on Tamiyo. I think that's probably safe. And then if they fight over it, we have Force of Will. We have double Force of Will technically. Yeah, I am going to fetch a basic unless I draw a land. Okay, I think they're on Nethergoyf. So this is the mirror. Fitting that we end with another mirror match. Or I guess the round one was like a pseudo mirror. But yeah. Land, please. All right, another Tamiyo. Well, at least we know what we're pitching to force. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go get a swamp. And no, I don't think I get a swamp here. My reasoning is that, okay, you got a Tamiyo, I got a Tamiyo. I would love for them to like daze this or force this, and they don't do either. Okay. So we do have daze now. We have force. We've got quite a bit of interaction. If they flip Tamiyo, I'll probably just let it happen. Because I do have lots of things I can do in my deck to stop it. Actually, I probably want to proactively daze something here. That's fine. Wait, is that the second draw? Oh, because of the bobble. I didn't think about that. Well, I can't do anything about it either way. Okay. They're going to be able to debuff our Tamiyo. That was a nice trick. I had forgotten that. Okay, so I think I'm going to attack first, and then I'll attempt to brainstorm. And I will probably daze the brainstorm. Actually, I don't want to always yield because I might need a stifle. Or actually, I don't have stifle in my deck. Okay. I'm going to brainstorm and hope to find a land. And I will aggressively daze, force, whatever I need to do to make sure this goes through. They're thinking about it. So they do have some sort of counterspell, most likely. All right, they let it happen. This is great. I mean, these are excellent cards. We can go after the mana if we want. We don't know. They could be on a graveyard strategy. I think we put back Tamiyo. Probably put back a redundant force. Yeah, I'm going to do that. She flips. I am going to go ahead and just get a swamp here. And I think I play out the Nile Spellbomb. Yeah, so I think this Wasteland might be able to pull some weight. We'll have a better idea of what we're up against next turn. But if they are on Rescaminator, round 2, blue-black, griefless control, then we will figure out a way to deal with that. We are going to need to connect. So if we daze this, we can't force it. And our Psychic Frog could be forced next turn, but I still think this is the correct play. They made Daze to protect. Yep, they do. So the other option, of course, was just to force it, and then I wouldn't be back a land here. Brazen Borrower is the best draw on the deck. Okay, they're surveilling. Surveil a Wasteland. Okay, well, that makes sense. All right. That's a bad draw. I'm going to play a Psychic Frog, and I have no illusions that it's going to stick. They do have Frog Supremacy. Yeah, even if we return a card from our graveyard, they're still going to have Frog Supremacy. I'll probably let them, if they attack in, I'll let them kill Tamiyo. They may have Fatal Push here. Actually, they're not going to be able to kill Tamiyo, but they will be able to inflict a lot of damage on her if they so choose. It's more important for us to get their Tamiyo out than because their Tamiyo is popping off sooner. I'm going to force to protect. I think it's likely that we get dazed here. All right, and they force back. Don't think we can win anymore. Okay, so we do have the option of, depending on what they do, I could potentially return Daze if I have enough loyalty left. And then have Daze to protect a Brazen Borrower if we draw Brazen Borrower. But otherwise, we're going to lose. Because if Tamiyo ultimates, the game's over. It's fine. They're coming in for a hug. All right, they are hitting our Tamiyo for 1. And And then they're going to plus their Tamiyo, I presume, unless they're crazy. But they might be afraid of like Bowmaster. I think they'll probably plus though. I would definitely plus in this situation. If they don't have counter magic, they might, yeah. All right. So it is really just, okay, another Tamiyo is fine. It doesn't change anything. It is really just Brazen Borrower or bust here. That's not going to do it. I'm going to, so I'm going to go ahead and exile their graveyard and draw a card. And if this card is Brazen Borrower, then I will limp along for another turn or two. But I will need to deal with the additional Tamiyo. It's not... Yep. Play draw dynamics. They were able to flip their Tamiyo first and start going up a turn earlier than us. And we had to play into their Dazes. We didn't really have a choice. Like... taking a turn off wouldn't have worked, unfortunately. Okay, so let's take a look at our mirror guide here. -4 Force of Will. -2 Thoughtseize. +1 Long Goodbye. +1 Edict. +4 Bowmasters. All right. We're going to become a very creature-heavy deck here. All right. We're keeping all our Dazes in because we're hoping that we are able to disrupt their mana a little bit and do to them what they did to us in round 2 when we're on the play. So we're going to be maybe mulliganing for a more aggressive hand. I think this is fine. I like the Nadu Spellbomb. I do like Tamiyo with Daze protection. I think we're going to keep this. So we do have the ability to flip Tamiyo next turn. The redundant Tamiyo is not a huge problem. Something we can potentially put away with Brainstorm. I am going to play on basics. I expect that they have somewhere between 3 and 4 Wastelands in their deck. We saw one of them. All right, that's a Fatal Push. I am going to protect. They Daze back. I've got another one, but I do want to flip her aggressively. They do Daze back. That's fine. I'm not going to pay. All right, we will replay turn 1. They do have a bobble. They're going to get a little more information about our deck. But I still have the initiative, so to speak, since I'm playing out the Tamiyo here. Got double ability to flip her, but I don't have any way to protect her. So if they just untap and Fatal Push again, that's the Tamiyo dream down the toilet. But we will get a perfect Brainstorm the following turn if that happens. Okay, they're pondering. So I'm thinking we're likely to be able to flip her now. And I'll still get a perfect Brainstorm after, and I'll probably get a clue too. So I'm feeling pretty good. All right, another bobble. This is really good if they get to Nethergoyf territory later, because they'll have like lots of cards they can exile and still have big Nethergoyfs. All right, I'm going to start by playing this land up. I'm going to attack. I'm going to flip Tamiyo. They could have like, what is the card? Oh, they don't have it. I mean, they do have Underground Sea there. They're not playing conservatively with their mana. That does make me kind of want to punish them, but at the same time, it may not be powerful enough. Brazen Borrower is definitely staying in our hand. Now Spellbomb's not meant for this matchup. I could probably put it back. They do have a pretty juicy graveyard, and it does cantrip. Okay, I think I'm gonna go like this. Yeah, I need the yeah, I'll do it like that. Then I'm just gonna plus her, and I have the option of drawing another Wasteland. I didn't really need another Brainstorm. Later I might regret putting a Brainstorm back, but for now I think it's totally fine. I'm not gonna play with the Nadu Spellbomb. I'm gonna reserve the right to take the second Wasteland if they don't fetch a basic here. It's fine. Yeah, I will punish them so hard if they just keep fetching non-basics, because I feel like maybe they don't have that luxury. They might have a ton of lands in hand and be happy that I'm wasting my Wastelands on trading 1-for-1. If you have a lot of lands in your hand, each land you play is almost kind of like 1-for-1ing your opponent if they have Wastelands. Okay, let's see if they get the other Underground Sea here. They do. Nethergoyf would be scary, but Ponder's not. So I think what I do here is I'm going to waste them, and I'm going to probably use this Spellbomb. They're going to see a Wasteland. I'm going to draw that Wasteland. They're going to think that that was probably the wasteland, and they're not going to realize I have yet another wasteland. Unless they saw it earlier. I've lost track. I'm just going to go now. Plus, I think it's fine to play this out. And end step, I can crack it. I'm trying to think. Actually, they could land Murktide here. I think I'm just going to crack it now. That might seem like kind of meek, but we don't want them to Bowmaster us. They have a really stacked graveyard. So I'll draw here. Another Nethergoyf. Great. Yeah, I'm feeling really strong about this. And it all comes down to being on the play. They could long goodbye it. They could bounce it with Tamiyo. There's a lot of things that could happen here. Brainstorm again. They're getting a perfect Brainstorm. An attacker will not do it because I have Brazen Borrower. They could have, attacker plus counter magic for Brazen Borrower, and then they could potentially get an attack in on Tamiyo. But aside from Psychic Frog, they don't actually have very many creatures that can get to enough power because their Nethergoyfs are 0/1s right now. Or they'll be 1/2s. Okay, are they going to get a basic land here? They don't want to be wasted off a particular color, so that's probably why they keep getting these. Oh, wow. Well, that's great for me. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to waste their Underground Sea. That way, if they have to daze something, they're going to have to have an ETB tap land. So I'll just play this out. I'm going to go ahead and waste this. I'm going to plus. I think it's fine to play a Nethergoyf here. I'm trying to think of what they could do that would be scary. I think I would go ahead and play Nethergoyf just as something on the board. I'm not going to pretend I have interaction when I don't. I could have definitely cracked a clue there, but I don't think that's the right thing to do. I'm definitely in the market for a third wasteland. So next turn, I'll probably ponder trying to find it if they somehow deal with Tamiyo. Okay, this is Brazen Borrower. I can't do anything about that. That's fine. I'll just recast her. They have found their way out of the lock that they had me in last game. We don't have sorcery in our graveyard, so this is actually going to make Nethergoyf bigger, so I'm going to do it. I think these are great. We can just Nethergoyf bully them. We do have... What I'll probably do next turn is I'll... okay, yeah. I want the land, or I'm going to potentially flip Tamiyo next turn. Right now I want to play another Nethergoyf, and I want to maybe keep Brainstorm up, I guess. I can't do both. I'll just do the Nethergoyf play. I think it's worth playing this out just in case I don't want the Nethergoyf. But I think we're going to get there with Nethergoyfs. It is written. Since we have a Brainstorm on top, I am going to just keep that card just in case we need it. And they're not dead on board, but we can return Nethergoyf as well. Oh, that's a good play. That does it. That makes our Nethergoyfs not so consequential. I'm going to wait till combat and then they can do it. And then I will just play a land and I'll start rebuilding. They're doing it. All right. So I'm definitely drawing this Brainstorm because now flipping Tamiyo is, a big deal again. All right. I think we kind of know what's on top of our deck. I am going to try to, so we have Fatal Push up there. We do want that. I'm going to take that. Oh no, I was supposed to Tamiyo first. That was bad. Okay. Well, we found a wasteland. That's great. I don't need this land at all. And maybe we don't need Tamiyo and we just attack in. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm going to put the Tamiyo back. Okay. I'm going to fetch first. Just buff the Nethergoyfs. I'll get an Underground Sea here. Play out my third wasteland. We're just going to go ahead and hit the Underground Sea again. I'll just attack for 4. I mean, there is definitely the risk that they could have another graveyard interaction spell, but I think it's fine to play out Nethergoyf. Because this is 6 damage, and if they kill one, these become more powerful. I don't know why I'm playing so carefully. Like, I feel like we just put our pedal to the metal. But the reason I'm playing carefully is I'm still relatively inexperienced with this deck. Is this a Fatal Push? By all means. By all means. You're taking 6 next turn. Yeah, those Wastelands were absolutely brutal. They conceded. Okay, so we got 13 minutes. I think that's enough for another game. Our opponents are also playing relatively slowly. So I think this will be an exciting one. We're on the draw, of course, which is not as good as being on the play, to the surprise of no one. But we do have 4 Orcish Bowmasters. They haven't seen a single one of those. I think those will be good against their baubles. Certainly against Tamiyo, if they get close to a Tamiyo ultimate. I don't see any obvious sideboard substitutions to make. Definitely Thoughtseize on the draw is not good. It's like an anti-combo spell. Yeah, I'm going to just keep it exactly as it is, and we're going to try to keep them low resources. They didn't fetch basics, and they paid dearly for it. And, Daze, if they keep doing that, Daze is going to be pretty live pretty far into the game. This hand has basic Swamp into Nethergoyf, Crack. I think this is a keep, though. I don't want to go down on cards. I don't think they play Stifle. They don't have any way to interact with our Swamp once it's on the table, I don't think. But like us, they probably do play 2 Nether Spellbombs. Tamiyo. Yep. I'm not going to interact with that. Okay. And they get the combo so they can flip her next turn. But I do have Brazen Borrower. Okay. If I get a land, that'll make me a little less antsy here. So they see what we're drawing. So they've seen our Delta. So I'm just going to play out the Delta. The problem with playing out Delta, though, is they know that I can only get an island, and I need to get a swamp. I'm going to play this out. I'm going to go ahead and bobble them. Yeah, I'm just going to do it now. Dragon Rage Chandler. Are they on? What? What? Okay. That is surprising to me, but I'm really glad I know that. I totally had them for I totally had them for being blue-black. I thought this was the mirror, but it's actually, Grixis. Okay, so they're going to draw here. Next turn, Psychic Frog can come down, but of course, we're playing it into Daze. As we play the Nethergoyf into Daze, I don't think they would Daze Nethergoyf. Wow. I'm so glad they drew that red card. That is terrible. Nothing wrong with playing a 3-color deck, but the fact that we didn't see a single indication that they might have red up until now is wild. Okay, and they can't, because they did that, they can't crack the clue, so they can't flip Tamiyo. So we get a couple extra turns of back and forth. But they may not want to crack her because they may just want to get a clue every turn. If they've got a really bad hand, they may want to draw some cards before they try to ultimate her. Okay, so I can play out Tamiyo, but I can't protect her. I think it's better to Island Ponder and try to find a removal spell for Tamiyo. And then, or a land. Land would be good. They have a Wasteland, but we're eventually going to need to play through that. Fatal Push, not the worst. This Wasteland is also pretty reasonable. So I don't want the Tamiyo, but I do want the Fatal Push, and I think it's fine to Fatal Push now. And if they daze, and it sets them back. Because next turn, I want to be able to put a Tamiyo out around Daze. Actually, if they Daze here, that means I'll probably be able to resolve Psychic Frog the following turn. Yeah, I could be wrong. I don't really care about killing Tamiyo. I just care about getting the Daze out of their hand. Actually, I'm going to have Wasteland next turn, so it's okay. They've used a push. They've used a Daze. So what I'll do next turn is I'll play Psychic Frog, and then I will waste. And if they try to do some big play this turn, which I don't know what they play, but obviously Orcish Bowmasters would be a high priority card to stop. I will stop it. All right, they can crack clues this turn. They're going to replay their Underground Sea. I'm going to waste that Underground Sea. Brainstorm. So they are flipping her. Nothing I can do about that. Psychic Frog will help beat her down. It'll take a few turns. I think if I waste Underground Sea, then I can cast Psychic Frog without worrying about Daze. I think that's the sequence. And we can always borrow her back to hand if things get out of control. It is worth noting that she can regrow Fatal Push, but that does involve them having a second land. I should probably assume they're going to have a second land, huh? Yeah, I mean, she's just so powerful. Let's see, what is the line? I'm now concerned that, well, I think the line is definitely wasting them and then casting Psychic Frog. And then if they regrow, they regrow. There's not, wait, I could actually just bounce her back to hand right now. I think it's better than playing Psychic Frog. They can force to prevent this. Okay, they didn't. All right. So now, if they have land, the game keeps going. If they don't, we're going to very rapidly take over. They have land. Okay. Tamiyo's back. I'm not going to interact. They can't get a clue this turn. If I find a land of my own, I think I know the top card is not a land. Yeah, it's another Tamiyo. I think what I do here is I just Tamiyo. Maybe that baits another removal spell. Maybe it doesn't. But I have Brainstorm next turn to protect her. But I'm going to attack with her. I'm going to make them use the removal spell on her. Do they have another land? They don't. Okay, good. Well, our Wasteland... Well, I mean, they may have one, but they didn't put it out before combat like most people do. Okay. Yep, they do have another land. Okay, so I think we're in trouble. I definitely think we're in trouble now. Yeah, okay. So what I can do is I can potentially Tamiyo, or I'm going to attack with Tamiyo. Am I going to? Yeah, and then I can Brainstorm in response and Flipper. I'm going to do that. Because I do want the token. And if they jump and pitch a bunch of cards, that is okay with me. They're thinking about it. So we've used one Fatal Push. We have 3 Fatal Pushes left in our deck. We've used one Brazen Borrower. Okay, they're jumping. We get a clue. By all means, block. They're pitching a card. They're going to have to pitch 2 cards here. Dragon Range Chandler, okay. Okay, Polluted Delta. I'm going to Brainstorm here. They have 1 card left, so they can't have Force. Daze won't do it. Man, okay, so we got a land. They might have a Daze. I think we play out our Frog here. Yeah, I think we play out a Frog. We could actually play out a second Tamiyo just as a chumper. I do want to get through this bobble. So I'll do like that. And now she flips. Okay, I'm going to go to post-combat. I'm going to play out my Underground Sea. I'm going to play out my bobble. I'm going to play out my Psychic Frog. Do I want to play out Psychic Frog? The last card could be Daze. I don't think it is. Maybe it is. If I just play out Tamiyo, that chumps for a turn, and then we have protected Psychic Frog. If I play out Psychic Frog, they've already got 2 counters on it. They'll have 3. They can draw another one. They can have Frog Supremacy. I'm going to see what their top card is. Wait. Okay, yeah, I'm going to see what their top card is first. If it's a Fatal Push or something, then... Oh, Pyroblast. Well, I think what I do here is I play out the Tamiyo to bait. And then maybe they attempt to kill Tamiyo. Pyroblast is a really... Wait, they don't have red source. Oh, my goodness. They're probably just going to pitch the Pyroblast. Let's see. If we play out Psychic Frog, it can become up to a 3/4, which is not big enough to tango with the Psychic Frog, but the upside of being able to attack in and draw a card is worth it. I'm going to play it out. I'm going to play to win, not play to not lose here. And if they put all their damage, or they can put 2 cards into hitting Tamiyo and drawing a card and killing my Tamiyo. Yeah, maybe that's not the right play. They'll have this giant Psychic Frog. We're going to be able to draw cards and eventually find a Fatal Push. Putting counters on Psychic Frog is a huge liability. If they find a fetch land or something, they pitched a fetch land earlier. Okay, so they had the push, so it wouldn't have mattered, Tamiyo or Psychic Frog. So Tamiyo is going to die here. Wait, yeah, I think Tamiyo is going to die here. They should draw a card and then they should pitch to kill her. They might just hold the Pyroblast they drew because it's such a strong card. Yeah, I'm not feeling favored though, that's for sure. We do have Tamiyo that we can flip next turn. They're going to draw a card and they can flip their Tamiyo here. I think that's probably what they're going to do. Yeah, they're pitching the Red Elemental Blast that they can't cast. Oh, they're just drawing a card. Oh, they didn't kill our Tamiyo. Okay, interesting. I'm not sure I agree with that. Okay, they're fetching. Okay, now they have the Red Blast and they can just blast Tamiyo. Maybe that's what they're going to do. I think it's really weak. They could have just dumped a couple cards and killed her. Oh, now they're drawing the clue. So they do have the Red Blast in hand. We know that. They're probably going to waste us here. Yeah, that red splash is pretty strong here. And I'm trying to remember. It's been a long day, a long morning. I can't remember what our next card is, but okay. So if we cut them off, what we need to do is brainstorm and find both a Wasteland and a Fatal Push. If we can find those, we will be so here. We'll be so happening. A Fatal Push, anything like that would be great. Okay, this is not great. This is not even that good. I think it's better than nothing, though. This does mean they're going to have to jump the frog to connect. I think we put the land back. Well, I mean, we can draw this next turn. Okay, I'll play out the land. They have already wasted us. I'm going to plus this. I'm going to play this out. This might deter some aggression from them. We do know that they've got Pyroblast coming next turn. They can't interact with Bowmasters. We're going to have to spend a lot of time and energy on their Tamiyo here if we can't remove it. So sadly, next turn, we're probably just going to play land and crack the clue to draw the other card, which is just a backup Tamiyo, and maybe deploy a Tamiyo as well, just as a chump blocker. We could deploy this, but this is not good. Yeah, they're going to blast here. That's fine. If they don't have an Orcish Bowmasters of their own, this could be a real pain for them. Oh, no, they can just recur this. Yep. Oh, they actually threw their Tamiyo into the bin to recur it. That's dedication right there. Yep, nothing I can do here. So the Psychic Frog is going to be in a position to take over the game. So it's flying. I can't chump it anymore. So they're going to get a card. I think, yeah. So they've got 3 cards in hand. I'm trying to imagine what combination of cards couldn't win this. They also have clues. Wasteland would be really big for them. That's fine. Their own Tamiyo. I can actually Daze this. I think it's probably worth doing. Not sure how much longer Daze is going to be live. Yeah, but with all these clues and everything, it's highly likely that they just, flip her, and then that's yet another problem we have to worry about. This is a grinder of a game. Okay, so they're going to look at our top card. They're going to have 2 cards in hand. They've got tons of cards in their graveyard, so they've basically got flight indefinitely. So I think what I'm going to do, I don't really have anything else going on. I'm going to play out Tamiyo, and then I'm just going to wait to end step. No, I'll draw now because they might have Bowmasters. I'm giving away what's in my hand by doing this, but I just need to draw through that card. It's not going to do anything. Yeah, I'm just going to attack. There's no world in which they don't just give a flight, and it's not going to matter either way, I don't think. So maybe they're not actually playing Nethergoyf. I thought they were playing Nethergoyf this whole time, but if they're playing DRC, they may not be. Okay, so Psychic Frog is going to connect. I'm not going to throw my Tamiyo in the trash. Okay, Ponder. If they're playing DRC, they may be playing Murktide, which would be very problematic, especially with a Psychic Frog on the table. All right, they're cracking a clue. 5 cards in hand. Just incredible advantage over us right now. That is the Fatal Push we've waited for. Here's what I think I'm going to do. Play this land out. Maximize the likelihood of us. And I think I am also going to... I'm just going to attack with both and see if they interact somehow. Okay. And now, I just can't wait any longer. I'm going to push here. I suspect they have some counter magic or something to stop this. They do. Actually, there's nothing I can draw here that'll make a difference, but I'm going to draw anyway. Okay. It is countered. That is sad. I'm going to try to play a Nethergoyf. they could definitely daze it here. They've got so many cards in hand. They haven't dazed yet. So, well, they dazed. Okay. Wow, it's a 5/6. That's pretty good. All right. Yeah, like I still think that they're heavily favored, but this Nethergoyf is definitely a shot in the arm. They could have a fatal push for it. Brainstorm's fine. They're going to get to hopefully see for them. They're hoping to see fatal push again. They have 2 fatal pushes left in their 31 cards. All right, they're fetching. This could be like a big creature, like a Murktide. Yeah, this is what we were afraid of. I had no idea that they were even on Delver until game 3. That they were even on Grixis. Yeah, so they've got just an 8/8, no big deal. So the only thing that's going to save us here, is if we can find another Brazen Borrower, we can bounce it back to the hand, and that only saves us for 1 turn. We can throw Tamiyo in front of it for a turn, but that's not a winning strategy. We can also throw our existing Brazen Borrower and Exile in front of it. Okay. So I think here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to attack with Tamiyo. They're going to block, and then I'm going to attempt to Brainstorm to Flipper. Not a particularly powerful play, but at least it distracts a little bit. They're going to block. Now that they've blocked, I'm going to Brainstorm. Okay. Psychic Frog does not do it. It's too weak. So I think what we can do... Okay, so we shuffle this frog away. It's just too late, unfortunately. We're going to need to deploy this Tamiyo to chump. We need to find a fatal push immediately. So I'm going to do that. It's crazy to shuffle back a frog at this point, but I think it's correct. Now we'll go to post-combat. We're not going to be able to like sneak in and just kill him with Nethergoyf. That's not going to be viable. So what I need to do is I need to crack this clue and have it be something really good, like a fatal push or a Brazen Borrower. This is our last land in our deck. So we're going to go blue, black, crack. Shielder's Edict. Interesting. But we can't both Shielder's Edict and block. It's an 8/8. They just remove stuff in response. They can remove plenty. So what I need to do here is I need to play a Tamiyo to chump for a turn. And if they just can remove her, then that does it too. But Shielder's Edict is a good card. I mean, it won't get rid of the one that we want to get rid of. It'll just get rid of whichever one they don't care about. And this is the fatal push to end the game. Good games. Yeah, we got destroyed in those final 3 matches. I want to do like a post-mortem, but I'll probably just watch the video once I publish it and then like maybe leave some comments. So if you're watching this, check the comments. You might find some insights that are helpful. But what went wrong? Well, I think Painter is just an unfavorable matchup. Eldrazi is a very unfavorable matchup. Eldrazi is the aggro deck, and there's a saying that non-blue aggro decks will usually beat blue aggro decks, blue fair decks. And we kind of saw that. Like, I feel like we got lucky to have even beaten Eldrazi once. It's a tough matchup. Painter just has so many red blasts that we have to take out our best card in our deck, basically Psychic Frog, and replace it with Bowmaster, which is not a bad card by any means, but you just can't bank on when somebody has a lot of these Painter decks have like 7 or 8 red blasts. You can't bank on Psychic Frog getting you there. And one of the best things that happened with the printing of Modern Horizons 3 is Nethergoyf, because before we were so dependent, like tempo decks were so dependent on blue spells, whether that was Murktide or now Psychic Frog, I guess, was printed in Modern Horizons 3. But like those blasts were really powerful. Now they're more powerful than ever. But Nethergoyf provides us with something that can do some serious damage that is not blastable. And same thing with Orcish Bowmasters. So by becoming more black and less blue, the deck is able to adapt a little bit to Painter, but I still think Painter is a really tough matchup. So I think the games that we lost, other than the Eldrazi match, they were reasonably close. I don't have a lot to say about the deck. I think the deck's great. This feels like a very optimized list. Emperor Bones was awesome. The turn that we got to get Chaos Defiler back, that was pretty rad. Very good against the blue-black Reanimator deck. Yeah, I think that this is a great card in the mirror. I think having 2 Nile Spellbombs never felt bad. Like, it's still an artifact that you're putting in your grave. You're still getting a card off it. It's like just a slightly more expensive Mishra's Bauble. Long Goodbye was good. These Harbingers were great in the Eldrazi match. Consign was too. We didn't face any non-fair matchup like straight combo, but I do think this deck is very favored against combo decks. The reason being that we have a good clock. We've got Thoughtseize main deck. For all the reasons that old classic Death Shadow is favored between, Thoughtseize and Dazes and Force of Wills, and also just having a really aggressive game plan. I feel like we're favored in those matchups. Didn't get to use Powder Keg, didn't get to cast Toxic Deluge, but I do believe these cards belong in here. If there's any card in the sideboard that I would change out, I'm not sure about the Shieldred's Edict. The turn that we drew it was kind of bad. Like, I would have preferred this be Murderer's Cut. I would have been able to actually cast a Murderer's Cut, and I would have been able to kill the most consequential creature, was definitely the Murktide right there. But I can see that this could also, in a pinch, get rid of some permanents that are more problematic, like a flip Tamiyo that's about to ultimate, for example. I definitely would consider changing this out for a Murderer's Cut. But, we're using our graveyard too, and it feels bad to be taking things out of the graveyard that, Nethergoyf could munch on. I think that is correct, though. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out Shieldred's Edict, I'm going to put Murderer's Cut back in. Murderer's Cut is just like a solid removal spell that, so Long Goodbye, great card. I mean, it's basically the mono black Abrupt Decay for most intents and purposes. I don't really have any other observations. I hope you enjoyed the matches. Note that my opponents were super chill. Congratulations to all my opponents, especially those that beat me. Zolja, very accomplished Eldrazi player. Obviously, Grindstone Cowboy, whom I've played against a lot, did really well in that match. It was just fun, and I appreciate their patience too. When I'm narrating everything, I'm sure they're just sitting on the other side. Okay, what are they going to do? I'm trying to use my entire clock as Parker Ikata, Mr. UC. He has 3 names for some reason. From the Death Shadow Discord tells me try to use all your clock. Try to use every single minute that you can to think, because that's what the chess masters do. The chess masters don't care if their opponent's come on, hurry up or whatever. They're trying to think through the lines, and they're trying to play optimally. So if you are a relatively slow player like me, don't let anybody hassle you. You have the clock. It's a resource at your disposal. Use it. That's all I got to say about that. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.